Okay, should be up and running now. Just give it a minute or two, as per the usual, to wait for that number to change to something other than a 0. Alright, so momentarily we'll get going. Just one quick second, I'm just going to turn a light on. Okay, much better. Alright, so just another minute or so. When that number changes, we'll get started. Which it should be any moment now, I would imagine. If anyone can hear me, can they mention in the chat that they can hear me? Because I'm not sure if that number's just being a little slow in updating, or if I should just go ahead and get started, because sometimes it's delayed by more than just a few minutes. Sometimes it's 20 seconds, sometimes it's like 10 minutes, it seems like sometimes. But okay, sweet. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started, even though that still technically says 0. I'm sure it'll update shortly. So to start off with, before I really get started on this Datamine live stream, first thing I want to mention is this is going to be a long one. The reason is because the files that I got here, this is the largest amount of data I've ever dealt with before, and I've been doing this for about 3 years now. So welcome, welcome. It's going to take a while to go through this all. So as usual, I'm going to start with our bosses. The bosses are, whoops, wrong window. I think the bosses are both new. Usually we get one reused boss and one new boss. But this time around, I think they're both new. I don't think I've seen either of these bosses before. So this one, I believe, is Fire Spirit. Welcome, Flare Blitz. And this one is, I believe, Fire Water. I could have them backwards because I'm a little, to be truthful, I'm a bit colorblind, but purples and blues throw me off sometimes. But this right here, I believe, is Fire Water. And this one's Fire Spirit. So the usual, adjacent element raids. So this is boss number 1. So image number 2. And that's boss number 2, which is image number 3. Whoops, wrong one. There we go. So those are the 2 bosses that we have for this month, and it's just effects and otherwise. So we'll just copy him really quick into my new folder. Yeah, that does sometimes happen when you first get connected. I don't know why. I had that reported last stream as well, that people were having big issues with lag and the audio was cutting out or wasn't working at all, and so they just disconnected, reconnected. The other thing you can also do is at the bottom, I think it is, of the stream window, there's a gear icon. You can select that and change your resolution to 360. That usually helps quite a lot if your speed's a little slow. So, all right, now going into the armors. Now, I've been through this set of armors twice because I wanted to be sure I was looking at it right. And there are 15 armors in total. So, hey, Doc, how's it going? So there are 15 armors in total this month. Not the usual 9 or 10, maybe 11, but 15. So there's 6 extra armors in the files, and you'll see them here in just a little bit when we start going through them. But the first one is, I believe it was called the Ardor Lens Hammer. It was Spirit and Air originally. Now it's Fire and Water. So this one here is our new, one of our reskins. Don't worry, ladies. Daddy is here. Okay, anyway. So this one is Armor 1, and that one is Fire Water. So that's our first armor, and that, I believe, is going to be a War Armor, but I'm not positive. I'll go through that more in detail later, but that one is our first one. Our second one is one of the ones that goes with the raid. Actually, that one, I think I was right. So this is the raid armor, the one I thought was probably Fire Water, I'm pretty sure is this one, because it looks a lot like that one. So this is our first raid armor. That doesn't mean it's the first in order. It just means it's the first one I come across in the files. Long live the rivalry. So there's I believe, the female version of the same armor we saw first. So this is going to be a lot of sorting this time around. There's the female, the second one. That makes it easy. So there's going to be a lot of sorting because there's a lot of armors to go through, and as we get farther along, you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about. There's just a lot of armors. So this is a reskin of one we actually had recently. That was the what was it called? Blast Incrustation, I think it was called. Yeah, that's what I mean. If you turn your let me mention it in the chat since you can't hear me. Kind of pointless for me to talk. Change your resolution down to 360p. That usually helps. There we go. So depending on your speed, sometimes it's a little slower or a little faster. So anyway, this armor is Blast Incrustation. It was actually the epic boss armor we had, not the last Water Air, but the one before it. So this is a reskin of that armor. It was also Ragnarok Soul or something like that originally. I can't remember the name exactly, but I think it was Ragnarok. It was one of the first raid armors named after a player. So this one is Fire Spirit now instead. So instead of it being Water Air, it's now Fire Spirit. I think that's probably going to be the other raid armor. Not positive, but it looks like it to me. Because it has a lot of the same kind of color schemes and things to it. Yeah, lots of red and pink. Only auto in 720. Oh, weird. Weird. Very weird. The last stream we had issues with that, and they turned it down to 480 or 360, and it seemed to work fine. So let's see. So that one is... Sorry, losing track of what I'm doing. Male Evo 2. Okay, so that's the Ascended version. Whoops, wrong window. There we go. Okay, hang on. It's hard to tell. And my scroll isn't working again, you dumb thing. Stop that. Actually, no, I was wrong. That actually is my scroll isn't working. I hate when it does this. Hang on one second. I'm going to unplug this and plug it back in. Every once in a while it freaks out on me. Looks like mine is only auto in 720 as well. Huh, weird. Last stream, people were able to change it. It's weird. Okay. Anyway, so this actually was the female. I named this one wrong. This one is the male. They look so similar, it's hard to tell sometimes. Okay, now we have the third reskin. So there's 3 reskins, I believe, in total for the month, which is actually pretty good because we used to have half and half. So there's only 3, and this one is actually one we just had recently. It's Matt's Soul, and also the, I can't think of the name now. It was an epic boss armor also. It was Earth and Air. But now, okay. But now it's now Fire Air instead. So this is armor number 4, Fire Air, and I'm pretty sure that's male. Looks like it to me. Whoops, typo. There we go. All right, and then we have a step down from Ascension. That's the male of this. I think it's the third one. Is it that one? Yeah. I always got to double check and not mess myself up. So that one is the Evo 1. Cursed Blast. There you go. Thanks. I can never remember the names of these half the time. So that one is, whoops, sorry, that's the wrong one. It's this one. That's the female version of the same one. Okay, and here is our dual fire. So for those of you who are waiting to see what this guy looked like, that's it right there. And for some reason my zoom is not working. I don't know why. It does this to me every once in a while. So this is it right here. That's the dual fire. I kind of like the look of it, if I'm being honest. Whoops. Stupid thing. So this is armor 5, fire, fire. And that is the male, I can tell that already. That's the fire earth, and I believe, let me check my notes here. That's the only fire earth in the files. So this is going to be our seasonal. So this is armor 6, fire earth, and that I'm pretty sure is male also. Yeah, the fire is pretty nice looking. I like it too. That is our fire spirit. I think it's female, one step down. Hang on. Oh no, that's base. Never mind. That's one step down. Oops. Let's try that again, shall we? This time with less failure. That's base. And that one, whoops, and that one is actually the one step down from Ascension. Okay. Now we have one step down from Ascension. I believe that's the female of our very first one. And that's another new one. This is fire water also. I think, let me see here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's 3 fire waters, the dual fire, 2 fire spirits, 2 fire airs, and a fire earth of the regular armors. So, looks like earth to me. Yeah, sometimes they do. Sometimes the color schemes are not really as obvious as you might think. My zoom is not working on my mouse again. There we go. And it doesn't want to consistently work, though. Yeah, stupid thing. Anyway, so that's the fire water. That's the third fire water of the list. Oh, okay, cool. Good to know. Thanks, Doc. 7, that's fire water. That's, I think, male. Pretty sure. And there's the dual fire. That's the female. There's a step down from the fire water up here at the top. I think it was number 2. Yep. So that's number 2, but that's a step down from Ascension for the male version. There's the Cursed Blast reskin. Matte Soul, whatever. That one is, I think, this one. Yeah. So that's a step down from Ascension on that one, and I'm pretty sure that is the male. And there's the base of the male of that fire and spirit. I think it was this one. Yeah. Again, just making sure, because there's a lot of armors this time around, and it's going to mess me up if I don't start paying attention early on. Okay, there's the female of that fire and air, one step down from Ascension. There is a fire. This is the second fire air, so this is the second one of the 2 fire airs. I'm assuming this is probably going to be the seasonal one, but I'm not positive. I really have no way of knowing for sure, but that's what it looks like to me. So this one is armor 8, fire air. Looking sharp, my boy. I'm not sure who you're talking to. That's the female of the fire water, sorry. Very first one. One step down from Ascension. There's the dual fire. That's a step down from Ascension on the male. Sometimes it's easy to spot, sometimes it isn't. It just depends on the... More or less it depends on the chest plate, because it's not always as obvious which one's which. There is the female. That makes it easy. It's right next up. And then we have the fire spirit. The second fire spirit. Was this one? No. Or no, wait. Sorry, is that the... No, sorry. This is the last one of the regular armors. I think that's male. I could be wrong. It could be female, but I doubt it. Okay. And there is the fire earth that we just saw a little bit ago. But this one is the female instead. Then we have the fire spirit. Yeah, I was right. It is actually. That was the male, so this one's the female. There's our fire air down here at the bottom, but that's the female one instead. Some of these, this month, they're pretty easy to spot, but they're not always. There's our fire water. It's our third one, going right there. And I think, yeah, that's the female. This month, they're pretty easy to spot. Yeah, the helmet on the fire spirit is pretty cool looking. Right there, yeah. Okay, now we're getting into the different armors. This is one of 6. And they all look, as far as the looks of the armor, identical. But they differ in 2 ways. So there's 2 fires. There's one, let me see. There's 2 fires that look slightly different. There's an air, a spirit, an earth, and a water. So there's 6 total dual element armors in here that all look exactly the same except the color schemes. So this is the first of the dual fires. So armor 10, fire. That is, I believe, male. So this is going to be a weird one. I don't know what event this is going to be, but this is going to be probably a pretty involved one. So that's the first of them. So let me zoom in here a bit so you can kind of see it a bit better. So there's the head, shield, weapon. They all look exactly the same. The only difference is the color scheme. The 2 fires look slightly different, but pretty similar all in all. And then the elements, of course, are different for the rest. So there's 2 dual fires and dual spirit, dual water, dual air, dual earth. But they all look exactly the same. So this is where things are going to get interesting. Okay, so now we have our fire water. That was the 3rd one right there, I think. Nope, sorry, that was the 2nd one. The top up here, number 2. Yeah, number 2. And that was the female, one step down from Ascension. So most of the armors that are in that group of the ones that look like all the same are toward the end, so I don't have to go through them as much, but I will run across them here and there still. So this is the male, I believe, base of the very first one. And that's why I said this is going to be a long live stream, because this is going to take me a while to sort through all this. He's asking what he missed. Well, if you can't hear me, I can't really explain it, but can't really spend the time explaining. Okay, so here's the other dual fire. So this one looks, again, exactly the same, more or less, except it's still dual fire, obviously, based on the particle effects. But the armor itself looks just a little bit different. It's not quite the same. So this one is armor 10, or armor 11, excuse me. This is also dual fire, and I'm pretty sure that's also the male. There is the, hang on. Maybe I was wrong. I was wrong. That one is actually the female. It's okay, though. I can fix it easily enough. And then this one here is the male. Okay, so there's our dual fires. The 2 looks of the dual fires. I don't know what kind of event it's going to be or anything else. All I have is images. All right, so this is our fire water, which was the raid armor up here toward the top, and that is the male, I'm pretty positive. I think it was this one. Let me double check. Yeah, it is that one. Okay. There's actually a total of 3 dual fires. Not one, there's 2 dual fire event armors, and then the regular dual fire exclusive. So, yeah, I don't know either. This is all new to me as well. Okay, so this is the first of the dual fires, the more golden look, I guess. Kind of like we had with previous events where there's a dual, or there's like the adjacent element regular armor and then the golden version. I'm assuming this is just the golden version, the same kind of idea. But I don't know why there's 4 other elements besides, because it's Fire Month, so it's just interesting. I don't know what the plan is or what they're going to do. But that's just what I currently have available to me as of now. I haven't even mentioned it to anybody at DECA yet, because they probably couldn't give me much detail at this point yet anyway. With the Ultimate Armor and everything coming up, they probably don't have the time to really answer my questions about it anyway, in any case. Okay, and here's our dual air. So again, same look, different color scheme. So that one is armor 12, air. And there is the dual fire's base. I believe that's male. That's the exclusive dual fire. There is the base of the female of this very first one up here, I think it is. Yeah, the very first, the first raid armor I came across, I should say. So that's the female of that one. There is the fire spirit down toward the bottom, I believe. Yep, that one right there. So that is the, I'm pretty sure that's male. Actually, it could be female. I'm gonna label it as female because that chest plate's kind of narrow. There's the dual air, but the female one. There's our fire earth, the only fire earth, so that one's easy to sort out because that's the only one there is. Yeah, it's gonna be a crazy month. I don't know what the plan is or what's going on yet at this point. And we have a pet. Now this is, I believe, the third reskinned pet. I believe, because if you zoom in on it slightly, this head looks very familiar, like I've seen it before. I mean, it's not exactly the same, just like the one that was the what was it, the fire Ifri or whatever his name was, not Ifri, but he was a fire pet that they reskinned into spirit instead. This one I think was originally fire as well, but I don't remember. Anyway, that's a pet. I'm gonna skip that one. And there's our dual fire, but the not golden one. Or actually, sorry, this is the golden one, so this is the very first dual fire. This is a step down, I think. Let me double check here. Yeah, it is that one. It's just a step down from Ascension on the same one, but on the male version. There's the dual fire again. That's the female base. There's our dual air. That is the male, one step down. And we have our fire water, the last fire water, I believe. Yep, that one right there. That one is the, I think that's the male. Pretty sure it is. And there's our dual spirit, which again looks exactly the same in every way except color scheme. And that is male. And there's our dual fire non-golden version. So that one is on number 11, I believe. And there's our dual fire golden version, but that's the base, I believe, of that one, with the male. And there's our very first armor, but that's the base of the female. Okay, so that's out of the way. Decaversary is in June, so that would make sense. It's an anniversary, probably, event. I don't know why I didn't think of that. It's kind of stupid of me to not think of that. But yeah, the Decaversary is in June. So yeah, it does have a D on the shield. I don't know. That's probably Decaversary. See, a big D right there. A big D. So that's the golden one. That's number 10. But that is the female, one step down from Ascension. And there's the dual earth. So I think that's all of them now. Yeah, that is all of them. So armor 14, or no, actually no, maybe not. Maybe there's one more. Oh yeah, I haven't done water yet. That's why. The big D. Yeah, I don't know why that didn't dawn on me already. So this is the dual earth, and that is the male. And there is the fire water at the bottom, which was this one. Yeah. Again, I'm just double checking because there's so many armors this month. If I don't pay attention, I'm going to mess myself up. This is the female, one step down. There's the dual water. This one I kind of like the looks of, just slightly better than all the rest except the dual fire, because it actually kind of looks like, you know, a water armor in a lot of respects, but still has the same gold looks to it. So anyway, this is the yeah, that's the dual water. So that's the dual water of the 5, or the 6, excuse me. So that's now armor number 15. So we've now gone through all the armors. It's just a matter of sorting out the rest at this point. There's our dual fire non-golden, which is number 11, and that one is the male, but the base, I believe. Yeah, yep. There's our dual spirit female. That's the ascended version. There's the dual fire, I believe that's non-golden, I think. Yeah, it is, because the golden one doesn't have the... Yeah, that's... Never mind. Sorry, the golden one only has one left. Alright, there is our fire spirit, which I believe was... I'm just double checking again, because I don't want to mess myself up again. That one, I believe, is the female. So let me look at this one. Yeah, I was wrong. I labeled it as female, even though it was actually the male. Oh, come on, stop it. There we go. And this one is the female. There we go. Okay. What is going on? Oh, I relabeled the wrong, I renamed the wrong one. That's not what I wanted to do. That was actually a pet. That's a pet. That's not what I wanted to do. I've renamed a couple of them wrong now. Crap. I gotta figure out which one I named wrong. Is it this one? No. I've labeled a few of them wrong now. This is gonna suck. I gotta go back like a few here. Okay, let me start at the top because I think the last one I did was a fire water. Let me look at these one by one. No, that's definitely not the fire water. That's the dual fire. I got these all jacked up. Crap. This is gonna suck. Okay. So where was I at number wise here? 56. Okay, we're gonna name you back to 56. Oops. Okay. That one's fine. That one's fine. That one's fine. That one's fine. Okay, that's good. Okay, so we've got fire, water, base, step up, ascension, base, step up, ascension. Got it. I think that one's already correct. Yeah, that one's fine. Cursed blast, reskin. I don't think I have all those. I don't have all those yet. So there's female. Yeah, male and female, evolution 1 and ascended. That's the armor 5. That's definitely not armor 5 because that's not the dual for the, that's not the exclusive. That's the wrong one. It's armor number 5. So that is going to be image 55, was it, I think? Yeah, should be. And then we have female, female, got it. Male, base, male, step up, male, ascended, got it. Okay, fire, earth. We only have the female of evolution, or the ascended and male, yeah, male, ascended, and one step up, one step down. So that one is not the fire, water either. So armor number 7, that one is image 54. I'm just putting this back kind of to where it was, so I don't mess myself up further. Okay, so there's fire, water, that one's okay. That's the female of that one. There's the male of that one, got it. That's the fire, air, that one's good. And that one's good. That's fire, spirit. That one's good. And that one's good, okay, sweet. So I've got evolution, I've got evolution 1 and ascended. That's where I'm off, right there, number 10. That one is actually, hang on, let me rename this really fast before I move on. And that's armor 10, fire, fire, right there. That one is actually the female. That one. Okay, I think I may have sorted this out, but I'm going to keep going just to be sure. I think I was on here. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so this is still wrong. This is still wrong. Okay, so this is going to be image 54, I think. Nope. Image 53. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right, so that's fire, water. That one's good. That's fire, water. That one's good. That's fire, air. That one's okay. And that fire, air is okay. That fire, spirit is okay. Yep, that one's good. That one's good. Dual fire is okay. That one's wrong. Yeah, that one's wrong. I got a couple of them messed up besides. I think it threw off like the last 10 armors I renamed. So this is going to be fun. Jacked myself up earlier than I thought I was going to. Okay, so this one is armor 10. Male base is going to be image 52. And there's where I got messed up. That's what threw me off. I should have moved the pets out before I moved on to anything else. Would have saved me some trouble, but it's a little too late for that now, obviously. So fire, fire, number 10. This one right here, this is going to be image 51. Okay. Really quickly before I mess myself up again, I'm going to create myself a folder called pets. And I'm going to move the pets into it so I don't mess myself up again like I just did. Okay, so 51. 51, 63, 64, 73. Still a lot of armors to go through, like I said. 84. Let's move those really fast. Okay. We have, I think that's it. I think there's just the 5 images of those, and then it goes back into the cape, and we'll come to that in a minute. I just want to get the pets out of here so I don't mess myself up further. Okay, so we've got 113. Go down to here. 113, 14, 15. Oh, they're all in a row. That's handy. All the way to 117. Sweet. Okay. There we go. Now they're out of my hair for a minute. I can go back to what I was doing without messing myself up further. I may have to go through these again just to be sure, but... Okay, so starting from the dual fire, this is where I messed myself up. So that one is the female, female, male, male, male. Got it. Fire earth. Only 3 of those thus far. Only 2 of those. I think only 2 of those. 3 of those. Dual fire golden. Dual fire golden. Okay, so that's good. So I've got the female and the male. And then I've got the... Okay, so that one's also wrong, because that's number 11. It's actually this dual spirit. I may have messed up more than I thought I did. I'm glad I went back and checked. So this one is female evolution 1 for 11. That one is actually armor 13, spirit, spirit, female. I'm going to name that as Evo 2A, because I know I've got one already that's named that. And there's the fire, fire. The second, the non-golden one. That is the female, so that one's correct. Okay, good. That is the dual water, which I named that one wrong also, because that's fire, fire, male base. So that's actually water, water. And that one is male evolution 2A, because again, I already have one named that. Whoops. I hope I change the armor number. There we go. All right. There's our dual spirit again, and that one is the male. So that's this one here. Yeah, right. Yeah, I knew it had been used before, but I think it was air. I think you might be right. I think it may have been air. But it's been a while ago. It's not like it was a recent one. At least I don't think. It might have been, but I don't think so. All right. Where was I at here? Sorry. Dual spirit. That's right. So this is dual spirit male. It's armor 11. It's actually that one there. I'm just renaming these so I know which ones I need to mess with. So this is the non-golden dual fire male. That one's correct. That is the dual air female. That one's correct. That one's not. So armor 12. Male evolution 1 is actually armor, I think it was it 6, I think? 5, sorry, 5. That's the dual fire, and that is the male base. And that one's now done as far as the armors are concerned. What? What are you talking about? Oh, sorry, duh. Male, not male, female. So that one's 12. That one right there. There we go, that's much better. Okay. Now we have dual air, male. That one's correct. Dual spirit, that's not correct. That's the non-golden dual fire, which is number 11. So that's, whoops, wrong one. That one's that one. But that is the step down. Actually, that's the base. Sorry, that's the wrong one. There we go. Now we have the fire water down here at the bottom, which was this one here, I believe. Yep. I'm getting it fixed. I think I'm almost done fixing it now. So that's 50. So that's spirit, spirit. I'm having to double check all these as I go, so I don't mess myself up again. Making sure I'm renaming the right ones. Okay, so that one is the dual fire. That's the female, the golden one. But it is a step down from Ascension. Okay, whoops. Dual earth. That one is here. That's one step down. There we go. Getting there. Slowly but surely. There's the fire water. That is the female. This one right here. Oops, hang on, I just about did it again. I think I may have fixed it now. Hopefully. Okay. Alright, so let's close you. Back up to here. That's the dual fire, dual air, dual air. That one's not right, so that one needs to be fixed as well. So that's the 13 female. This one right here is the non-golden, so number 11, one step down. There we go. Maybe that is the golden. No, it's non-golden. Never mind. Okay. Dual spirit female, that one's correct. So that one's back in where it's supposed to be. Dual spirit male is correct, so that's back where it's supposed to be. And dual water is back where it's supposed to be. Okay, I think I'm back in business now. It took me a minute, but I got it. I've done that before in previous streams where I'll rename the wrong thing and then it messes up the next several afterwards until I realize it, and then I go, oh, oops. And then I have to go back and fix it, and then I'm back in business again. Okay, moving back into the swing of things here. So this is the dual earth. One of the several I renamed incorrectly. Okay, so this one is armor 14, earth, earth. That's the one I had to redo. Okay, that's the dual air male. Now that I've got this in order, I can speed through them a little bit quicker. There's the golden male. It's number 10. There's the golden male base. There's the non-golden female. Number 11, I think it was. Oop, hang on. Oh, this one's actually wrong. I did rename that one wrong. So this is actually base. I wasn't paying attention to the sword. The sword's slightly different. This is actually Evo 1. There we go. Only off by 1. Okay, fire spirit, which was I think this one. Yes, it was. Good, good. So this is the female. One step down. There's the dual air. That is the female. One step down. There's the fire air, which was, I think, that one? Yeah. So that is the male, I believe, just one step down. Dual spirit, that is the male. Fire water, I think it was this one here. That is the male, I'm pretty sure. Yep, that's the right one. Cool, cool. Slowly but surely. Okay, fire air, I think that was the one up at the top. Yeah, one up at the top. One up higher, anyway. This one right here. So this is the male, but that's the base of that one, number 4. Let me grab the female really quick while I'm thinking about it, just to save myself that trouble later. Number 78. Oops, scrolled too far. Okay, there we go. Just to get those two out of my way, so I'm done with that one. That'll be an easy ring and amulet set for that one too. Fire air, that one is the one that's just above. It's right there. This is the male base. There's the dual air, that one is the male base. There's our fire earth, which I believe that one is the female, one step down from ascension. There's the base of the male version of the same one. Let me grab the base of the female really fast since we're already almost done with that one too. There's the base of the female, which is 82. Yes. It should be that one. Yes, it is. Cool. All right. I just wanted to get those few out of my way since I was working mostly on the other ones. So there's fire air, which is this one here. That is the female. One step down from ascension. Fire water. That's this one here. Yeah. But that's the female base, I think. And that one's done. Sweet. Okay. There's our golden dual fire. That's the female base. So that one's done. Okay. There's our fire spirit down toward the bottom, which was this one, I think. Yep. So that's the base of the male. There's our dual earth. We only had the one prior to now, so that's the female. There's the base of the dual air, female. So that one's done. Other than the ring and amulet and head, of course. There's the non-golden, I believe. That's the bit. Yeah, I renamed that one wrong too, but that's okay. That's a simple fix. I just have to copy that, change this to Evo 1, and then rename the one I'm looking at right now. Ta-da! Okay. I had a couple that were off, but they were at least the right armor, just the wrong number. So I had base instead of evolution 1 or vice versa. That's the base of the male. Of that dual spirit. There's our fire spirit down here toward the bottom, but that's the female base. I think that one's done now too. There's our dual water here at the bottom, but that is the one step down from Ascension, male. There's our fire air. I think that's the last one of that one too. That's the female base. So we are almost done with sorting armors. Then I get to have the fun of sorting rings and amulets, which always seems to be kind of a mixed bag. Sometimes it's a humongous pain in the butt. Other times it goes by pretty smoothly. So that one is the step down from Ascension dual spirit. There's the dual earth. That's the step down male version. There's the female right after it. I hate when Windows does that temp file crap. It drives me nuts. And there's our dual water. That's the female, but that's the ascended version. Yep. There's our dual earth. That's the base of that one, male. There's the base of the female dual spirit. That one's done. There's the dual water female, one step down. And there's the base of the male of the same one. And the base of the female right after it. Handy dandy. I think we are almost done. Just got to do one more of the dual earth. That's the female of that one. And now we're on to the cape. That's the cape, the wings, whatever term you prefer. That's what those are going to look like this month. And this is right here. What's going to look like on the body. So you can kind of zoom in a bit so you can kind of see it a bit better there. It's kind of cool looking. Definitely fire themed. Looks like dragon wings. Sort of. Okay, then we have a new chest. And you'll notice right here this kind of emblem on the front of it. I'll zoom in. This looks just like the front of the helmet of the duels, the dual event armors. So that's presumably it's going to be a chest for that. Okay, now we have dual fire. That's our exclusive dual fire. That's the head for that one. I did briefly glance over the rings and amulets, so I kind of have an idea on a couple of them, but I'm not positive on the rest. Okay, so let me move these really quick here. Let me go back. So cape is 95 to 97. I'm not going to mess myself up again like I did before. Bam! There we go. Okay, then we have chest, key. Because I know I have one key at least in here. I'm going to move the chest into it as well. 98. Okay, now we have the dual fire head, which has already been renamed. Then we have the fire spirit down toward the bottom, which I think was this one. Yep, that's the right one. So that's the head for that one, number 100. Sorry, somebody asked me a question online. Okay, there's our golden dual fire, so that's number 10. That's an easy one. There's our, I believe that's water. This one again kind of throws me off sometimes because I'm not positive. I believe it's this one. I'm pretty sure. Because the blues and the purples they use sometimes just mess with my eyes. Might just be my monitor, but yeah, looks to be the same. So that's the same one there. So that's the dual water. Okay. Just making sure, because invariably if I don't look and double check, it's going to mess me up and I'll be screwed up for the rest of the time I'm doing this. Okay, fire earth. It's the only fire earth, therefore the seasonal. There is the, I believe that's the dual earth, if memory serves me right. Looks like it. Well, no, actually, no, it doesn't. It looks like the non-golden. Yeah, that one right there. Never mind. The non-golden dual fire. There's our spirit, dual spirit one. These ones are a little easier to spot. It's the rings and amulet sets I'm going to have trouble with later. And there's our dual earth, I believe. Yep, dual earth. There's the Cursed Blast reskin, which is the fire air up toward the top, right here. That's the fire air toward the bottom, I think. Yeah. That one right there. So it's the two fire airs back to back, so that makes that easy. There's our dual air at the bottom, right here. And then we have our fire water down toward the bottom, I think it was. Where was it now? I think it was this one. Mohawk looking dude? Yeah. Okay, there's that one. And there's our one at the very top. Oops. That one right there. Very first one. There's our fire water, the second one. Oops, I kind of missed on my copy paste there. It's alright though, I can fix it easily enough. Just save myself the trouble later. And then we have this one here, which is our fire spirit blast incrustation reskin. Again, I think that's probably the other raid armor, so fire water and fire spirit. So that's the ring. Again, regular reskin, so it's the exact same armor, just a different color scheme or color palette. That's the ring for it. And I'm going to try to find the amulet. Oh, that was easy. Very next one. Okay, that made that easy. Okay, next up we have one of the rings and amulets for the dual element armors coming up here. Maybe 1 second here. I'm going to have a lot of these back to back, and so I'm going to have to really look at these closely to not mess myself up, because the spirit ones, the earth ones and the air ones will be easy, except for the non-golden dual fire. It's going to be very similar kind of to the dual airs to my eyes, but just how they look to me. So it'll probably mess me up as I go, but we will see what happens. All right, I'm going to skip that one and that one and that one. Okay, so there's our blast incrustation, or not blast incrustation, cursed blast. Dual, that's the fire air, which I think was this one? No, one up above it. That one right there. So that one is that's the amulet for that one. It's the same as the original, just a different. Why did it give me a shortcut here? What? I don't want two of the stupid armors. Delete. Can you delete, please? The keyboard's acting funky again. Okay. So that one is, oops, I don't want to do that one. Number 124. That one right there. So that's the amulet for that one. Oh, I'm sorry. Apparently my copy and paste didn't take. That one right there is the one I want. Computer's lagging pretty heavily right now. I gotta skip ahead and try to find the ring, which is right there, number 127. Done. Okay. Get those out of my way. Alright, let me go back to here again. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. I'm going to skip those for now, and I'm going to come back to them. That's our fire earth, I believe. I'm pretty sure, anyway. Looks an awful lot like the head. And I hate that this thing is not allowing me to zoom. Every once in a while it does this to me. It looks very similar to the head. Actually, it has the same sort of emblem there on the front with the two horns coming off the sides. So I'm going to say, just for the sake of argument, that's the ring for it. So that's number 129. Double checking my image names here before I do this. Okay, now we have, I believe, if you would let me zoom, that would be freaking amazing. There we go. Farther than I wanted to go. Thanks for jumping the gun on me. Slow down there, Turbo. Okay, this one I believe is the fire water, or fire air. Could be fire air, actually. Yeah, it could very well be this one. I'm gonna manually zoom in so it's not jumping all over the place on me. That actually does look very similar to that one, except for that kind of this color here on the side. Maybe it's not. It might not be that one after all. Let's go to the fire water. Might be the fire water. That looks like it fits better. Yeah, it definitely looks like it fits better. Has much more of a water feel to it. Okay, so that's going to be that one. Fits that one much better. So 130 ring. And now we have, I think this is the one I was just looking at, the fire air. Yep, that's, I think, the fire air. That one is this one right here, I think. Yeah, I think that one fits this in a little bit better. Has a similar kind of color scheme to it. Not exactly the same, but at least has a lot of the same kind of colors on it. It has a lot of the kind of the pinks and the oranges and things on it. I think that's it, because it has the same kind of like flare coming off the shoulder here that this has, but it just points the other direction. And then the weapon has the same kind of flares as well. So I'm going to say it's this one. So fire air. And if anybody spots anything in here and says, "Oh no, dude, you're colorblind as hell. You can't see what you're talking about," just point it out to me in the chat, because I invariably am going to make a mistake here and there. So if you notice something and you say, "Oh, actually no, it goes with that one better," definitely point it out, because I'm known to make mistakes like that on occasion. That one, oh wait, I may have labeled the wrong one. That one looks much more like the fire air I was just looking at. Let's copy, and we're going to undo that renaming. I think this one actually is the right one, now that I look at it, because I hadn't really looked at it that closely. Because it has the same kind of like flares to the head. Well, maybe not. Nope, that's the fire water ring. Crap. That's what I was thinking of. I was just thinking of the wrong armor. Fire water ring. It's this one right here. Nope, maybe not. Hang on. Okay, now this is seriously messing with me. No, it's not that one. I think that's the fire air. I think it is this one. Yeah, because it has the same kind of flares around the head. I think it does go with this one, because it has the same kind of shape to the front of the head there. The kind of the same color scheme. So this is this one. I renamed the wrong one. So I was right. So 132 is fire air. Okay. This one is one of our dual. This is our exclusive, I believe. Nope, not that one. Duh. Number 5. Very first one. There we go. That makes much more sense. So if I zoom in on this guy, you can see the same kind of like thorny bits come, or bone-looking shapes coming out in the same color scheme. That's the ring for this one. No doubt about that one. That's an easy one. Okay, so that's number 133. And I'm going to grab the amulet for that one too, because I remember I saw it and it was easy to spot. It's this one right here. I looked these over already. So 138, that's the amulet for that one. So there's our dual fire done, our exclusive dual fire. Let's jump ahead here a little bit. Amulets and rings. Actually, sorry. The rings have the same sort of like spiked look like the helmet does. And then the amulets are just the D, looks just like the shield. So those are, again, other than the color scheme is messing with me a bit, should be easy to sort out. Then we get these guys, which I'm assuming are some kind of token or collectible or material that are used for the crafting of them, or chests for them. I don't know. So that's what those look like. All the different elements. Then we get into this guy here. This is the amulet for the, I believe it was the second fire water. This one right here. Yep, it's just like the shield. So that's an easy one. So that's number 146. That's the amulet for that one. And that one is, I believe, the Fire Earth amulet. Yeah, it looks just like it, actually. Fire Earth, where are you? There it is. Oops, I meant to open up the other one. That one right there. Okay, so if I zoom in on this guy here, it has the same exact emblem on the front of the shield. So that's an easy one. Okay, so that's number 147. Whole bunch of stuff to sort through here this time around. I'm getting there, though, slowly but surely. That one is the, whatever it was called. The Blast Incrustation. I couldn't think of the name of it. The Fire Air, or Fire Spirit, excuse me. Number 3, I think it was. Yep, that one right there. Came from this one originally as well. This is just the ring for it. So that's the ring for that one. It's the same ring as the original armor, just recolored. 148. And I'm going to find the amulet really quick while I'm on that topic. There it is right there. Number 154. Okay, now before I continue on, I'm going to refresh this page really fast. Back to the top. So we have that one done. We have that one done. Or no, wait, we don't have that one done. I'm still missing the ring for the fire water. Okay, so that one's done. That fire air is done because that was a reskin. That's an easy one. Dual fire is done. Fire and earth is done. Missing the fire water amulet. So I'm missing a few. I'm missing a few of those still, and then this one here as well, the fire air, and the fire spirit at the bottom. Okay, so I've still got a few more to sort through, but I wanted to get the majority of them out of the way. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's those. Now we have this one. This is one of the ones I need to figure out. Okay, so the fire water up here at the top, I suppose it might be this one. It doesn't look right to me, though. Okay, so I don't see that particular kind of shape really anywhere. This has a lot more orangey yellows and fire looks to it. This one doesn't. This one has kind of more purpley, almost spirit looks to it. So let me see here. Fire spirit, that one's already done. Fire air, that one's done. Fire water, this one is not. But I do have the ring for that one, I think, already, don't I? Yeah, I do. But I might be wrong. Has like this sunburst sort of looking thing in the middle of the chest plate. That doesn't look like that at all. Yeah, I think I'm good with that one. I don't think I need to worry about that one. Fire air, I do have the ring for that one already. Fire spirit, this one I do not. So this one I do not have a ring for. And this looks just like the center of the head. I don't know why I didn't see that. Duh. That's an easy one. I just didn't see it. So 131 is our ring for that one. That's done. Sweet. One less to worry about. I'm going to skip these again for right now. I'll come back to them in a bit. Okay, now this one. Oh, that's the ring at the top for the fire water raid armor. This one right here. Yep. At least I'm pretty sure. Looks just like the flames on the sides of the thing. And actually looks just like the creature too. So that would make sense. Yeah, that's it. Color scheme looks a little weird. Doesn't perfectly match up that well. But it is a fire ring. And it doesn't have to really match the water elements. 149. Okay. That's the ring for that one. So I think that's all the rings sorted out except for the dual element armors. Now I just got to sort out the amulets. So I've got a few more of these to sort out. Whoops. Get in there. Okay. That one... See, I need an amulet for... Do I need an amulet for that one? Do I need an amulet for that one? I need an amulet for the... no, I don't need an amulet for the fire earth either, because I got that one. I need an amulet for the fire water. And that does not quite look right. Kinda does. But not quite right. I think it's fire spirit. Or maybe fire air. Huh. No, maybe not. No, I don't think it's that one. I think it's the one at the bottom. Fire spirit right here. I think it's this one. Yeah, it looks much more reminiscent of this one. Much more like this one. Same color scheme right there, actually, on the front of the shield. Like, it's the same, like, multiple colors kind of all in together as well. Same shape to the head. Yeah, that's that one. Okay, so that's one more down that's done. So that's number 151, I believe. Yep. Okay, and now this one. Okay, that one I believe is the fire air, if memory serves me right. Yeah, because it has the same kind of multiple, like, flares, kind of all grouped together, like this is here, with all the color schemes. How's whose break going? Sorry, I don't know who you're talking to. That one I think goes with this one. It looks like, a lot like this one. I'm pretty sure that one's right. So I'm just going to say it is for now. Because I don't really have a whole lot of other options. I think all the other armors are nailed down except for the dual element armors. Okay. And then we have this one, which is, come on, scroll, stupid thing. That one, I think, if I scroll back up to the top, I've got the fire water, got the fire spirit, got the fire air, got the fire fire. Oh, I didn't actually take a full break from the game. I just stepped back for a while and was just playing casually. I mostly left chats. I left like 15 chats in like a day because there was just too much going on. So I'm having a hard time keeping up. I pulled most of my accounts out of the guild I was in and pulled them into my own guild for a week, well, 10 days. But I'm back more or less. I just haven't really rejoined anybody yet. I just haven't been in any events yet, so. Which mod is which? I have two. Yeah, I didn't really take a break from the game that much. I just kind of was like away for a while. This one, I'm pretty sure this one's this one. It looks similar enough to me. Has the same kind of spikes and stuff right there, and not positive, but it looks like this one. It looks similar enough, I should say, to this one that I think it's right. I could have a couple of these wrong. It's entirely possible I have them wrong, but they look right to me. It's close enough. I'm not perfect. I've never said I was. So I make mistakes just like everybody else does. Okay. Now we have a crafting material. So there's that. Looks kind of like a potion, I guess. I kind of did. I kind of did take a break from the game, and on the mods, one of them is an Aegis, I think it's called, and the other one's a Sigeli 150. So this is a 150, and this is an Aegis right here. So, but yeah, I kind of did take a break from the game. I was just playing casually in my own guild. I actually have two that are just sitting with alternates in them. So I moved my accounts to there and then just played there for the raid weekend and then the war before. So I've technically been gone for about 10, 11 days. So it hasn't been that long, but I kind of did take a break from the game, but not that long. I make my own. I've been making my own for about 2.5 years. It's always 3 milligram. It's always what I use. Okay, so there's that one. And then this one, I don't know if this is a crafting material or if this has to do with the dual element armors. I'm not sure, because there's 3 in total here. Or sorry, that's a key, never mind. So these are regular crafting materials, and there's the key I mentioned, because there's a chest, and there's the key for it. So number 157, I'm going to move really quickly into the chest here, chest folder. So this is key, and this is chest. That way I have them labeled. Okay, so back to here. Now the fun part. This part's going to suck for me, because I always mess this up when it comes to like the color schemes. Anyway, I was saying I make my own. I've been making my own for about 2.5 years now, almost 3, I guess, because it's too expensive to buy. I can make a bottle that's this size, is 30 milliliters, for about $1.50 at most. And most places are going to be charging you 10 to 15 bucks at least for their not great quality stuff. So I just started making my own because it's cheaper. And I know exactly what goes in it, so I'm not worried about the ingredients. I think this one is our golden dual fire, but I could be wrong. I have a lot of the mixing equipment. It's really kind of complicated to talk about in the middle of a live stream about something else. It's a rather complicated. It's not really complicated, I should say. It's just a long description, so I'm not really going to go into it in detail here. So I move this over here. Actually, no, that might be air. This is what's going to mess me up, because some of these are going to be looking so similar to my eyes that I'm not going to be able to tell. That's Earth. That's an easy one. Okay, so 122, I think it was? Yeah. 122 is dual Earth. That one I can easily spot. I don't do the pods. I think those are kind of lame, to be honest. Largely because they're like, what, 24 milligram nicotine or whatever. This is 3, and it's more than enough for me. Anyway, sorry. That's, I think, Spirit. Pretty sure. Looks right. Looks like Spirit to me. And like I said earlier, if you spot me making a mistake, like if I get Spirit and I should have water, let me know, because I do make mistakes like that on occasion. Because the blues and the purples they use, I'm not fully colorblind, but it throws me off. So that's the ring, I think, for that one. That's air. So I think I was right. That looks like air. Which I think was, yeah, number 12. That's 125. Oh, yeah, you probably haven't been watching since the start. There are a total of 6 additional armors this month. All of them are dual element. So like we've had with previous events where we have a regular armor and then a golden armor, we have the same thing this time, but there's 4 other armors besides. That's one of each element combination. So there's 2 dual fires, which are golden and non-golden, the regular versus the golden. And then we have dual air, dual earth, and dual water, and dual spirit in addition. That's the golden one. That's an easy one to spot, thankfully. So I think that first one I came across actually was the right one. It was the non-golden version. And there is the... Oh, maybe not. Maybe that's the non-golden version. But what do I have left? Dual water? Really? Oh, hang on a second. Let me close this. Maybe that is a dual water. Oh yeah, I forgot. It has that kind of golden mixture. Kind of golden, that golden kind of color, and then the blue mixed into it. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Duh. So that's the ring. That's easy. And then this one is the non-golden, I believe, which is number 11 here. This isn't going to be as hard as I thought. Now we go into the amulets. This is not going to be fun. That looks like purple. I would assume they'd be weaker, because the dual fire is all attack with better HP than it used to have. But they're going to be weaker than the exclusives, or probably even the seasonals per se. But the dual fire golden versus the dual fire non-golden, the regular version, will probably be similar. Kind of like the events we've had just recently, where there's a regular and a golden. So the regular will be decent, and the golden will be better. I'd venture a guess probably some in the neighborhood of probably like a war or raid armor. This one right here that I have on the screen, that's what I was thinking actually, was this one here being spirit, but I hadn't really looked at it really a lot. We were talking, so I hadn't been paying attention all that much. It probably is, yes, it looks like it to me. Okay, next up we have, that's Earth. I can tell that already, that's Earth. Earth's thankfully an easy one. It's always very green usually in color. Then we have, I think, that one looks water. And that one, actually, nope, hang on. No, hang on. That one looks to me like it's spirit. Maybe not. This one actually looks more spirit to me. Significantly more. Because we already have the water one, which was this one right here. Oh, scroll, you stupid thing. There we go. Well, maybe not. Yeah, this one's water, this one's spirit. At least that's how it looks to me anyway. There is the golden, I believe. Number 10. Yeah, that's what's messing me up, is it's red. It's not really very, purpley. So maybe that's the non-golden. That might be what it is. So that's the amulet, sorry, brain cramp. And that's air. Yep, that's air, so that's easy. Dual air, so that's number 140. So yeah, maybe it's the non-golden. That might be what it is. Maybe that's what's messing me up. The non-golden one. Because I don't have an amulet for that one yet. Yeah, let me rename it really quick and then I'll look at it in more detail. Because the dual fire, one of them is distinctly much more golden, obviously. Like I said, the non versus the regular versus the golden version. So there's the golden version, which is very clearly gold in every respect, all the way around pretty much. Whereas the non-golden, which is right there for comparison, is distinctly red right there. Duh. Yeah, there we go. Answers that question. So it has kind of a reddish tinge to it, reddish and kind of almost brown in spots. But that's the golden edges to everything, of course, but it has that red look to it besides. So that's where it was. So I just wasn't paying attention. Okay, almost done. Now we have the crafting materials, or I'm assuming crafting materials. This one looks like water to me, so I'm going to call this one material water, because I don't know what they're going to be called. That one is spirit, I think. Material spirit. And I don't know what these are called, so that's the name I'm using. There's the red one, so that's the non-golden. That's material golden, or regular fire, just so I know which one it is. And there's the golden one, so that's the material golden FF. There we go. There is, I believe, that looks like earth. That is earth. Material, earth. And there is air. Yep. Okay, let me rename these really quick. This should be fire golden. Whoops, what are you doing, you dumb thing? Stop that. Fire golden. So that way I know it's the fire one. And that one is fire regular. So that way they're in order. And then we have material 1, so SF47, season 47. Material 1. And SF47 material 2. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I usually look for, because usually it's a dead giveaway that, you've got like this one, for example, looks purple, so most likely spirit. And the next one is blue, so it looks like water. So that's what I usually go off of. But sometimes the color schemes they use, the blues and the purples mess with me, and I can't always tell them apart. So I always just kind of second guess myself, and I'm like, is that right? That looks right. No, that. And so what I quite often do with the armors especially is I'll look for kind of a theme or a look to the armor and kind of match it up to the rings or the amulets that look like they fit together. And sometimes it's really, really obvious, like it looks just like the shield or just like the shoulder or whatever. So sometimes it's easy, but it depends. Sometimes they're much harder than you'd think. The air season we had, not the most recent one, but the one before, where we had all the armors that were the reskins of the Epics and Dragonforged, those ones I had a lot of trouble with because there was a lot of really similar color schemes that month. So I was having a hard time getting those figured out, and I ended up getting 3 of them wrong. I had 1 amulet wrong and 2 rings wrong. So I had an amulet. No, sorry, I had a total of 4 wrong, technically. I had rings and amulets swapped on one armor, and rings and amulets swapped on the other armors. So. Oh, did I? Okay, good to know. It's entirely possible, like I said, that I could have these backwards. So that's why I always have people want to kind of have people check me, make sure I'm not messing things up. Okay, so this one here is water. Okay, yeah, because to my eyes, these colors are just similar enough that I can't always tell them apart. So this right here, for example, looks much more blue than that one does. But again, it's just the color schemes they use just mess with my eyes. I am colorblind in a way, but I mean, I can still see the colors, but sometimes I can't always differentiate. I can see they're different colors. I just can't tell always what they are. Like earth is easy because that's green. I can easily spot that one, but the blues and the purples sometimes mess with me. Okay, here we go. So we're going to take all these. We're going to go here. We're going to go copy head, ring, and amulet for all the armors. And we're going to start putting them together. here's where the fun begins. My final fun is going to be assembling a humongous sheet, probably the biggest sheet I've ever made. And we are now an hour and 15 minutes in, and I just finished sorting. Holy crap. That's usually 45 minutes. But I did mess myself up at a couple of points, so part of it's me. Part of it's just the amount of data I'm dealing with. Okay. There we go, and we will now copy the pets, the cape, and the chest and key into my folder I created just for this month. Whoops, wrong one. Right there. Bam. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. All I have is images. I don't have any details at all otherwise. And I likely won't have any details at all until, well, at least regular monthly stats until like the last week of this month, like the last few days usually. I usually get the upcoming month's armor stats, usually around the last 2 or 3 days of the month, or maybe the first day or two of the following month. So since this is June, I won't get this until late May or early June. And the event armors, they never give me any details on those ahead of time, so I don't know. Okay, here we go. We're going to go through these in groups of 5, since there's 15 in total. I'll give that a second to load. Always takes its sweet time when I haven't loaded it up recently. And that is our dual fire right there, which I'm kind of stoked to see what it looks like. Sorry, I'm putting these back in order. So that should be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Okay. So there's only a total, like I said, of 3 reskins. Everything else is new, which I like. And I've also noticed, and I mentioned this in previous streams as well, that they seem almost like they have a new art team, or maybe a new person in charge of the art team. I don't know what it is, but the armors have had a different look to them, like kind of a different look and feel. Like they don't look like the previous, like, you know, even just as recent as 6 months ago. They don't look the same as they used to. Almost like they have a new direction or a new art team leader or something. I don't know. It might not even be a new art team. It might just be a new person in charge of the art team. I'm not sure. But to be honest, I like the original look of this armor, the Ardor Lens Hammer, the original armor, better than I like this one. This one's cool, but I just don't like the look of this one. The color scheme, I don't like the look of it, all in all. You know, to each their own. You can like it, of course, if you want to. I don't have any problem with people liking stuff. I just don't like it myself as much as I like the original. I do have the original on one of my accounts on EU, so I like the original design a little better. It's a cool looking armor regardless. I just like the original design a little more. Come on, you stupid thing, move. Mouse is freaking out on me now. Okay, and there is that armor before I add anything to it, so you can see it. The reason why I do that is the shields are quite often massive and cover up most of the effects that you'd see on that outward arm. So like this arm right here, you lose almost all of that when you do this. It's almost completely gone. So I do that just so people can kind of see what it looks like before I cover it up, because it ends up just kind of disappearing behind that humongous shield, which is really pretty common actually. The shields are massive, the weapons are massive, but the weapons being massive isn't as big of a deal. Matt likes the FF. Well, the Firefires are usually pretty cool looking. I wasn't a big fan of the most recent one because it was kind of a combo, what I call mix and match reskin. It was unique in that it didn't look a lot like other armors, but it reused like 3 other armors components in one. So it just looked like it had been used before because it had been used before. The base of the weapon, which kind of covered up that whole front section of like the arm that's holding it, like right here, is actually from the Sapphire Brunite. One of the, like, it was a Water Earth, I think, originally raid armor, and then it was reused again, and then it's the Inscribed Custodians, the same armor as the most recent Earth Spirit epic boss armor we had. It's the same armor, or the same weapon that's on that armor. They just added a point to the end of it. So it's the same basic shape as that. It just had a point added to the end of it, more like a sword point. So, which I was like, okay, I guess that works, but whatever. So there's that one. There's one down. And this one, if memory serves, was pretty square. Like from side to side, top to bottom, pretty square. So this one is about 250 wide by about 245. So yeah, I was right. It is pretty square. That's a little narrow though, maybe 255. There we go. And that one, I can move you out of the way. In the wrong folder anyway. Pictures, there we go. I had to find the right folder. So this is Armor 1. I can move that back so I can actually see on the screen I'm looking at more often than not. Okay, one down. Okay, now we're going to do, this is the one of the two raid armors. And I believe the Blast Incrustation reskin is the other one. I'll look at it in more detail when we get closer to the end. But all right. So this is our Fire Water raid armor. I like the look of the weapon, especially on this one. The head's cool too, but I like the look of the weapon the most. I just like those long swords. And I like hammers too, which is why I like the Ardor Lens hammer, but I like the original version better. Okay. And put the body underneath here, right about here. And then we will find the arm, there we go. And this one has another big shield too, so I'm going to kind of put this one on here so you can see it before I cover it up too. There's that one, which is pretty cool looking, I think. And this shield, again, is massive, so it's going to cover up almost all of that you can see. There's the hand, there it is. Kind of messing me up on the positioning of that thing because it's a little off angle. Okay. Now we have this out to here, right about there. Weapon is massive, but I like it. That kind of where it needs to be. And as always, I kind of have to blend in the wrist because it overlaps the effects underneath it, so I kind of have to erase a little bit of it to blend it back in where it's supposed to be. And then I kind of delete a little bit of this, or erase a little bit of this to make the weapon, the rest of the hilt, the rest of the handle blend in better. Because quite often if I don't do that, they look a little funky. At least to my eyes anyway, and that bugs me. So even though most people might not even realize it's there, it bothers me because I'm the one doing it. So if I take this and drop this in behind, right about there, and it blends in nicely. It looks actually like it fits. Like it's actually right there. You can't tell because when I delete that out a little bit, whoops, when I delete that out, you can't see it like where it blends in, so it doesn't have an obvious edge to it. That's the reason why I do it. Okay, let's see it here. Do back into one layer. Man, my computer's unhappy. Not normally this slow, but today it's deciding it wants to be like a molasses in winter. Okay. Stop it. There we go. Okay. Put you there. Where are we at here? About 306. Man, this is a big one. 310. A lot wider than it is tall, but that's pretty common. Pretty normal. Which is my favorite? Honestly, I think probably the dual fire and the fire air and the fire spirit, the new ones. We'll get to them in a minute. But this one, I like this one a lot. I like the weapon especially for this one. But I do like the fire spirit, the later fire spirit, not the first one, because that's a reskin. The second one, and then the second fire air, which isn't also a reskin. Alright, so there's that one. Save you. Has armor 2, fire water. Okay. Now this one's a reskin as well. This is the blast incrustation. Me and Matt could be besties. Is Matt watching it with you or something, Flam? I like new designs, all in all. This one's cool looking. I mean, the original design of this armor was cool looking too, but it's been used before, and that kind of turns me off. Even if the armor itself is cool in every other way, it just kind of turns me off because it's been used. You know, so it's just, I don't know. It's just, maybe it's a personal preference of mine. I'm just not a big fan of armors being reused. But I know it's going to happen. I know it all honestly comes down to a simple matter of financials. Brain cramp. It's cheaper to make an existing armor a different color scheme than it is to make an entirely new armor from scratch. So I mean, it makes sense from a financial standpoint, but I'm not a fan. That's all. Not a fan of armors being reused. Even though I know it's going to happen, it still doesn't make it any easier to swallow, I guess you could say. Doesn't make it an easier pill to swallow. Okay, and there is that one. That head looks a little large. Even on the original armor, it looked a little weird to me. And we have this massive shield. Not as massive as some I've seen, but still big. We have the massive shield that covers up most of that arm again. About like that. But you can still see the horns on that one. It's not too bad. Sits a little lower than some of the other ones. Okay, there we go. He's with you in spirit. You just know what he thinks, huh? I just know. I know him so well. That one's going to be a pain to blend, that one. There we go, finally. Got the edge of that wrist, finally. Wasn't blending at first. I was like, what's going on here? It's just that wrist is just a lot farther down than I thought it was. Okay, and then we have the rest of the hilt here, which I didn't delete the rest of the hilt. Let me do that really quick. Oh, actually, I might not even need to on this one. It's not that bad. Yeah, that's not bad at all, actually. It looks pretty good. So that one you can kind of see, like if you look right there, there's an obvious edge, and that bothers me. Even though it's not really that obvious to most people, that bothers me. So I kind of try to clean it up a little bit so it's not as obvious. And again, mostly to my eyes, not as obvious. Most people wouldn't even really care or maybe not even notice, but it bothers me. Okay, there's that one. And that one is about 275. That works. Okay, we're making progress. Okay, and here's the Cursed Blast, Matt's Soul. Spectral Finscutarius was the original armor name. That's a mouthful. The original armor was Spirit Water, I think. It was a war armor forever ago. I think I have that on one of my accounts too on EU. But yeah, it was a Spirit Water armor. I think the same month they had a Spirit Water Raid armor, and I also have that one. I got the regular version. You're a genius, that's how. If you say so, Flem, if you say so. Okay, so this one, again, this one was recent, actually, relatively recent when it comes to armors. There's Matt's Soul, which was a raid armor, and then the original armor was the Spectral Finscutarius. And then it was reused as, of course, recently as not the most recent Air Earth, but the one before it, Epic Boss armor. So this one should be familiar to most people. Yeah, so make sure that lined up right. Didn't look right to me at first because I had it too far to one side. Okay. Yep, that's what I said. Yeah, it's actually like I said, the original armor was Spirit and Water. Then they reused it as the raid armor, which was Matt's Soul. Um, and then it was the original name of Matt's Soul when they reskinned it as Air Earth was the Cursed Blast. So that's where the name came from. And then the one that they have for this month right now, the Adamant Twilight, the Water Air, was Kirsten's Soul. It was one of the ones that was named after Kirsten, who sadly passed away. Was also originally called the Adamant Twilight. And my armor, the one that was named after me, Blando's Tribute, was originally named Dookun's Spear. So they're all they're reusing the armors that were named after people, but they're going back to the original names that were used for them. So they're not really unique per se in that respect because they're the same armors, but they're using the original names with much improved stats, of course. There's that one, and then oh, hang on, gotta get that bottom edge, because this one will not blend, because it has a really short hilt, if I remember right. Yeah, really short hilt. And this one would not blend in at all if I didn't do that. So if I do this and bring it up to about there, it disappears, like it belongs there, which is my intention. Which is how I want it to look. And when it doesn't look that way, it bugs me. So I want to go in there and fix them if I can. Come on. Thank you. Taking forever to get those layers back into one again. That right about there, and that one right about there. Okay, so this one is about 255 wide. Yeah, that's pretty close, actually. Pretty close to square as well. You and me both, Flam. You and me both. What bugs me, bugs. What bugs you? Bugs. What bugs me? Bugs. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I'm surprised you're still up, Flam, to be honest. I thought you'd be asleep by now. Okay, and here's our dual fire. Yay! So if you came here just to see the dual fire, we'll be done with that shortly. A little bit of bleed over on that bottom edge. Happens occasionally. It's happened actually quite a lot recently. I'm not sure why that is. Like about like that. I gotta cut that pretty close because it's right next to the arm. There's also a little bit of a bleeding, a little bit of an edge bleed on the bottom end of that foot too. I need to fix that. About like that. There's a little bit of a bleed right there. Happens on occasion on a few armors here and there. Like last month, it happened quite a few times. This month, this is the first one I've seen so far. Granted, I'm only a third of the way in, so who knows. This one has a little bit of a bleeding edge up on the top of that too. This is going to jump. I knew it was going to do that. Jump all the way to the bottom. Okay. And there's the arm, which I'm actually going to clean up that edge right now before I move on. Anything else? Yeah, a little bit on the bottom edge of that knuckle. Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes the colors they use are cool. Like the there was one that was recent. Totally drawing a blank. It was the reskin that I used recently. That was the last time it was used was Darth's Soul. I like the reskin of that one actually quite a bit better than the original. Some of them though, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Some of them I don't like as much. But like the Ardor lens hammer, the first one, the fire water we looked at very first, that one I don't like as much as the original. But sometimes they do have really cool looks to them, really cool element combinations. Kind of depends on the armor. And sometimes it's kind of a personal preference. Well, I should say most of the time it's personal preference, because there are armors that I just think are just goofy looking or kind of ugly. Other people love them. So a lot of it's just personal preference. In fact, most of it really. I think I just repeated myself again. But yeah, it's a lot of it's personal preference. Sometimes, people are like, oh, that armor is awesome. I love the look of that armor. And other people are like, yeah, it's okay. And other people are like, no, I don't like the look of that armor at all. I think it's dumb looking. Like, this weapon, to me, is weird. It looks like it's a cluster of, like, bones that are all kind of clumped together. Yeah, the Jolly Jester event, they've actually done an event like that roughly every 2 months for a while now. We had one at Halloween time, had one at Christmas time, had one around Valentine's Day-ish, and then we just had one that just ended, so that was 2 months later. So we should have another one in June. So being May now, it should happen next month, in June, because that's the Decaversary, the anniversary of Deca taking over the game. So we should have one sometime in June. I don't know when exactly, of course, but sometime in June. I got to cut that off. That's way too long. I'm going to have to cut that before I even copy it. So I'm going to take it from here. Here we go. For some reason, they've been doing that with a few armors. They'll have the entire armor, the entire weapon with the hilt at the bottom, and I kind of have to chop them to get them to fit right, and then I can, put the rest of it back in afterwards. Feathers. It kind of does. It kind of looks like feathers or bones. And the reason why I say bones is because there's bones kind of jutting out all over the place on this armor. That's the reason why I said bones, because there's a lot of them everywhere else. So I just kind of assumed that's the theme. That it has kind of bones and things jutting out all over the place. Maybe that's the idea. I don't like the weapon all that much either. So it's not just you. So they still put the end of the hilt here, so you can still insert it back behind it. But they made it as part of the original weapon, kind of as a separate piece. So it looks a little strange to me. Whoops. Put you over right about there. There we go. So there is the exclusive. There we go. So if you were hanging out just to see the armor, there it is. I mean, I don't mind you staying, of course. If you want to stay to the end, that's fine too. I don't mind. But just if anyone was staying just to see the exclusive, there it is. That's the armor. That's what it looks like. Okay, so this one is about 270-ish wide. That's pixels, by the way, for anyone who didn't know. And most armors are much wider than they are tall. That's pretty common. Some are square, but most are usually a little bit wider, like 260 versus 240 or 270 versus 250, things like that. Most armors, though, are generally shorter than about 270-ish. The tallest armor that I've ever done, which this was actually well after I started doing data mines, or well before, sorry, was the one of the first dual air dragon forged. I can't think of the name, but it was the armor was really, really, really tall. It was really tall and really short, wide, width, really short width, but really tall. But it was one of the first dual air dragon forged, and I think it had a ring and amulet set too, I believe. I think it was a war armor, if memory serves. Or maybe it was raid. I don't know. It's been long enough ago, I can't remember. But it was huge, massive. Yes, this is the dual fire exclusive right here. If you look on the original sheet here, if I show you, you've got fire swirl, the aura at the feet, and fire effects all around. It's the dual fire. So yes, this is the dual fire exclusive. It's the first of the 3 dual fires in the files, but it is the exclusive armor. Because there are 2 other ones besides from the event armors. Okay, back to here. Now we can do our only fire earth, 3rd fire water, 2nd fire air, second fire spirit, and the first of the event armors. I say event armors because I'm assuming that it's going to be an event of some kind, without any additional details to know otherwise. Okay, so dual fires at the end. 9, 8, 7, 6. Perfect. Okay. This is our Fire Earth, the only one in the files. So this is our seasonal Fire Earth. And I'll give more of a breakdown of what my predictions are later, after I've kind of assembled the sheet for the most part. And I always like to, I'm trying to make this more of a habit, but I don't want people to think that I'm like coming out, doing these live streams with my hand out saying, give me money. But if you do feel like donating, there is a donation option at the bottom. If you feel like it. I'm not expecting it. I do have a day job. It does pay the bills. But it would be nice. Again, I'm not expecting it, but if you feel so inclined, by all means. Okay, there we go. It's directly below the viewing window. Yeah, a lot of it, again, is personal preference. The last dual fire, I didn't like the look of it at all, largely because it was reused. It was reused pieces from a couple of other armors. The dual fire before that, I liked. The most recent dual Earth and the one before it, I liked both of them. But again, that's just a personal preference. I like the look of the armors. So it's really just whatever you like or whatever you don't like. It's just a matter of whether you like it or not. I mean, honestly, one of my a friend I've been playing with probably for close to 4 years now. Every time he sees the armors, he's like, "Oh, that's pretty cool. That's not too bad." He doesn't really have like a strong opinion one way or the other, largely because to him, they're just armors. They're just stat sticks. What they look like ultimately doesn't really matter. If they're cool looking, it's just gravy. It's an added bonus. But they're what they look like doesn't really matter as long as their stats are good. So that's kind of how I look at it. It's if they look cool, it's just an added bonus. Speaking of which, this one I like a lot. I like Fire Earth armors though in general. I like a lot of the off element armors. Like I like Spirit Waters. I like Water Earths for the most part. I like Spirit Airs. So a lot of it's just personal preference, what you like, what you don't like. I like the look of this one. But I like the look of most Fire Earth armors, so that's not that big of a stretch. Sorry, hang on one second. I'm trying to clean up a little and bleed over right there on that hand. Okay. And there is the rest of that hilt. Big long one. Drag you to the bottom. Slash the back. Now it blends in perfectly. Cool. Alright, so that one about there. There we go. And this one looks to be relatively square also. Zhugong's Heirs. I don't know why it took me that long to remember it. The Dragon Forged armor I was talking about earlier. The dual air. It was called Zhugong's Heirs. And I think it was raid. Now that I'm thinking about it. 260. That's pretty darn close. That's almost exactly perfectly square. Kabam. Yep, pretty darn close. Okay. So there is armor 6. Come on, stop it. Close. Keyboard's not responding sometimes. Okay, there's our last of the Fire Waters. The third one. Okay. Okay, and we have this one here. This one I like the look of as well because it kind of has like this right here looks like a Spartan helmet because it has that flare that comes over the top of it, like the movie 300 with the Spartans. It has that very similar kind of look to the back of the head here. And it has a very, I mean, obviously the color scheme is vastly different, but it has a kind of a more of a classic knight look to it, and I do like the knight looks. They look like an actual knight would wear. This one, of course, is a lot, like I said, the color scheme is obviously not very realistic, but who knows? They may have had people that had this color full of armor back then. I don't know, but it just looks cool. I like the look of the ones that look more like classic knights. And there is that one. And the shield's a little off kilter. It's not the usual kind of just straight up and down. It's a little off to one side. Like so. Not bad, just a little. Because usually they're kind of more straight up and down like this, as opposed to being kind of tilted like this one is. Not that big of a deal. Just a little weird on occasion to have these. This massive blade. It's huge! Alright. And right about there. Gotta do a lot of blending on this wrist. And a little bit on the edge of that. Not a lot. That one's not too bad. And oops, get up there. I've also noticed they've been doing this a lot. Like if you look here, you can kind of see where the fingers would kind of be placed around the hilt. They did that actually back in the Legendary and Epic days. Haven't done it really since then, so I'm wondering if maybe they got some of the original art team from back in that time frame back, and maybe that's why they kind of have a different look to them. Again, I'm just guessing. But this armor doesn't really look reminiscent of anything from the past. Like a lot of the armors that over the last few years have had similar kind of thematic elements, like they look like they were designed by the same people. But these ones for the last maybe 6-7 months, something like that, have a different look to them. Like they don't seem like they were made by the same people. Or maybe they were and they have a different art director, whatever. I don't know what term you'd use for the head of their art team. 295, good lord. That's a wide one. Pretty wide one right there. But still not the widest. The widest there's ever been. 7? Yeah. The widest armor there has ever been, I believe, still to this day, is the Decatron. 355 pixels wide, I think it was. This one, they're asking which ones are my favorites. This is one of them. Just because I like the look of fire-air armors in general. And this one just kind of, I just like the look of it. I think it's cool. Has like these blades, almost looking things on their head. Just, I think it looks cool. Just has random colors. It still has a distinctly fire and air look to it, though. It just has a lot of other colors in there that you wouldn't necessarily expect. Kind of like the dual air armor we just had. Did not look distinctly dual air. It didn't really have a dual air feel to it. It looked kind of a little odd. And during the live stream for that, I was having difficulty figuring out the ring and amulet set until I looked and went, oh, that's right. That doesn't really look distinctly earth or distinctly dual air. That's why the ring and amulet set looked weird. Because the armor itself doesn't really match what you'd expect a dual air armor to look like. Like the Shieldman's Honor, I think it was called, the dual air from a season or two, or a cycle or two before then, looked distinctly dual air. It looked very kind of white and gray and very air-like. This one doesn't look distinctly fire air. Oh, Doc, you donated. Are you serious? Thanks, man. I appreciate that. There we go. Fire water. Yeah, it does kind of look fire water. But it is fire air, I promise. The article or the particle effects are pretty clear, but it doesn't look distinctly fire air. Yeah, the air is a nice armor. I just it doesn't look distinctly air. That's my point. This one doesn't look distinctly fire air either. It does have fire and air looks, but it's not the only kind of color scheme they went with. This could have easily been a fire water or even maybe a fire spirit if they really wanted to stretch it. It doesn't look distinctly fire air to me. It has the same kind of air, white bits on it, but it's not the primary color, which you'd think it would be, beyond the fire kind of reds and oranges and yellows. Anyway. Okay, there we go. There we go. That's got a lot of blending on that one too. A lot of blending of that kind of thumb region. Well, let me check this one. It's not too bad. Just a little bit off there. Not much. See, there's the hand right there. That's what I was talking about. They did this back in the Legendary and Epic days. I should say Legendary days and early Epic. They didn't do it with a lot of the later ones. But if you look right here, if I put this right here next to it, you can see the hand would normally cover that. So you wouldn't actually see it. But if I put it in right here where it would fit, it would be right behind where that hand would be. Just like that. So I don't know why they just started doing that again, like in the last couple months. Not sure why. But that's kind of why I was thinking it was very reminiscent of the old style of what the armors used to look like back in those days. So, I don't know. Maybe they hired some of the old team back. Who knows? Or maybe they hired a new leader of their team, a new head of their team who likes the look of the old armors. I'm honestly not sure. Whoops. 270. Stop it, you dumb thing. Oh, good lord. 270, 270. Thank you. Stupid keyboard. Freaking out on me. Okay, so this one is armor. Good lord, stop it. 8? Yeah. Losing track of where I'm at. We are now at 10 minutes shy of 2 hours. I knew this was going to be a long stream. I think the longest I've ever had was about 2 hours and 40 minutes, I think. But that was largely because we just ended up chatting a lot, like talking about stuff, both game-related and not. And it was a lot longer than I usually do, and I was exhausted by the end of it because there was at one point I was laughing pretty hard, and we just had a good time. It wasn't a bad thing by any means. I was just tired by the end of it because I'd been sitting in my chair for 2.5, almost 3 hours, and I needed to go to the bathroom, etc., etc. It's kind of a very draining experience just because I hadn't been online for that long consecutively. So okay. There's the legs for this one. I like the look of this one as well. This is what I was talking about earlier. We're talking about favorites. Yeah. This one does look very Fire Spirit because it has a lot of the fire effects as well as kind of the purples and the pinks and the kind of more spirity colors. The spirit kind of color theme. It looks like it belongs. And the helmet's kind of strange to me. I mean, it's not a bad strange. It's just a weird, kind of a different look to it. Like it has almost like I guess for lack of a better description, almost like an Arabic look to it. Like it has like the headdress kind of comes down and then it has like the flares coming out the sides. It looks, I don't know, maybe Arabic-ish to me. Not exactly Arabic, but it kind of has that feel, that theme. I like it though. But I think honestly, of my favorite of all the armors, I think my favorite is probably a tie between this one and the Fire Air. Honestly, the one I just did just a bit ago. I just like the look of them. I think they're cool looking. Regardless of the elements, I just like the look of them. Ugh, eye is itchy. Like I've got a hair in it or something. Okay, so this one I'm definitely going to have to blend because that weapon's sticking out just barely past that hand. And that's harder to get those to blend in. This is kind of what I would normally see with these, like the handles, the hilts of the weapons. It just kind of bleeds off to where it would go behind the hand. Oh, yeah, you as well, man. Have a good night. Thanks. Everyone say good night to Doc Redstone. Get in there, you dumb thing. There we go. Okay. That doesn't look right to me. Yeah, I guess it is. Looked a little off. Hard to tell, though, with it blending into the hand like that. There we go. Okay. Bye, honey. Samurai. It does have a samurai look to it, too, yeah. I don't know. To me, it looks kind of like an Arabic look and kind of a samurai look, too. It's kind of a mishmash of the two, to me, anyway. Such a sweetie. Guys are dorks. Okay, let's see here. Alright, so width-wise, we're looking at about 275. That one's much wider than it is tall. Okay, there's armor number 9. And we are now done with the regular monthly armors. Now we get to move on to the fun event armors. First one is our golden dual fire. And then we'll have our non-golden and then the other 4 elements. One thing I did also notice, this is something that's really uncommon with armors nowadays, there's a gap right there at the waist. It's really, really uncommon for that in armors nowadays. To have some of the face be open, yes, that happens on occasion. But this one has a gap in where the waist would be. There's actually a gap there, which is not something I've seen in a long, long time. Click, you dumb thing. I'm trying to take off this edge. Stop it. Oh, are you going to make me unselect before I can do it? You goofy thing. Apparently so. Okay, there we go. I may have to move that, actually. Oh, I gotta come into here and fix this hand anyway. Oh, come on. Dumb thing, I thought I clicked you. Okay, there we go. I may have to move that. But the good thing is, since this is one layer, I can just do this. And I can move it, and it doesn't move anything but the armor underneath. One of the convenient parts about using this software, and software like it, is you can do it in layers and you're not messing with anything. That actually looks a little bit better right there, closer to that left edge, which is probably on purpose, because the shoulders should probably be underneath that kind of cowl that goes over there. I may have to blend in the arm, the forward-facing arm behind that. But yeah, if I put this underneath here, maybe it isn't. Maybe it's, oh no, it wasn't. It just has that kind of gap in the belt because it kind of does a little cross like this across the waist. So never mind, it isn't a gap in there after all. It just looked like it was at first. There we go. Never mind. Ignore me. Just a bit of a derp on occasion. Oop. That's a tight edge to get around there. I'm going to go around the other way. Be a little easier. Okay. Now we have the arm here. This is probably intended to be underneath that, but yeah, this is looking like it's going to have to be. Because I don't want that sticking out, like those spikes sticking out in front of this. So maybe, well, let me try it. Let me just see what it looks like. Whoop, don't do that. No, maybe not. Maybe it does actually look better that way. Yeah, it kind of does actually. I think I'll leave it that way. Make it, put it in front of the head, not behind it. Okay, anyway. And there's the big D shield. It says D on the front of the armor too. The chest plate has a D in the middle of it too. There's the shield. And this big old weapon. Not as big as some of the other ones, but still pretty decent sized. Okay, let's get this hand blended in here. One of the drawbacks to having black hands is that it's hard to tell where the rear hand behind and the forward hand in front, where one stops, the other one begins. Not always easy to see. Okay, that one's definitely got to be cleaned up a little bit there, because that's going to be a pain to blend that otherwise. And there's the handle right there. Okay. We are now 2/3 of the way done. Almost. Almost. That's actually going to be right about there. There we go. Okay, cool. So there's one of the 6 done. So my assumption is that this is going to be similar to the events like the Jolly Jester we just had and the one before that, etc. The Halloween one, the Christmas one. I'm assuming it's going to be similar to that, at least in respect to the regular versus the golden version, but I don't know what the deal is with the other elements. That's what I was just talking about. My streaming software just told me that the encoding is quote unquote overloaded. So you might see some stuttering in my video and my audio. I hope not, but it's entirely possible that you might. I hope it doesn't, but if it does, hopefully you can still hear me enough to know what's going on. So if anybody does notice any kind of stuttering or in video or audio, let me know. Or if it's a little bit laggy, it might be a little laggy, something like that. Hopefully that's all it is. Let's see, 240, 245. That's pretty close, actually. It's a little bit taller than it is wide, which is pretty abnormal. Whoops. What is going on here? Huh, my chat window just reloaded. That's weird. That's pretty close to square, actually. That's surprising. Yeah, my chat room just reloaded. That was weird. So if anyone can still hear me, can they mention in the chat that they can still hear me? Because I don't know if my stream just died on me or not. I hope it didn't. This is like I said, this is the longest stream I've done in quite a while. Last one I had that was this long was, like I said, about 2 hours, 40 minutes or so, and it was mostly because we were just chatting. Lagging a little bit, not that bad. Okay, good. All right, I just wanted to make sure, because I was hoping it wasn't like locking up my computer and making everything just stop, essentially. Okay, so this one, oops, hang on, don't do that. Wrong window. Save. Armor. 10. Fire. Yeah, but like I said, as far as the dual, like why there's a golden version versus a not golden version, I don't know. I'm assuming, again, that it's something related to the event, and maybe you have the option to switch the elements on it or something, kind of like the Decamorph was. I don't know, just something like that, I'm guessing, but I don't know. That's just entirely a guess on my part. Okay. Let's see here. I've got 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, there we go. And at this point, once I get these last 5 done, I can start working on the sheet itself, and then we'll basically be done at that point. And depending on how far along I get, I may end up cutting the stream off at that point, like when I'm mostly done with the sheet, just to save some bandwidth on my computer so it doesn't melt down on me. So here's the non-golden version of the dual fire. So the regular quote-unquote version. Like I said, my assumption at this point is it's something like the Decamorph was, where you could kind of pick your elements. But in this case, instead of you being able to pick like all of the elements, maybe you're only picking a dual element instead. That's just a guess. Again, I don't know for sure, but based on how these events usually go, that kind of makes sense to me. So, good. Thanks everybody for making sure it's still working, because I couldn't tell for a minute there if it was actually working or not. There's that right there. Yeah, just a titch to the right. And the legs. A lot of bleed over on those legs on that one. There's also a little bit on the hand. I need to do that really quick too once I get this in place. There we go. Let me jump back out to here, to layer 3. Delete a little bit of excess on that hand right there. To layer 4. A little bit of excess on the side of the leg there, and a little bit on the bottom of the foot. There's not a lot of it, but when they have them, it's a lot for some reason. Don't know why that is. Okay, we have the arm, which is right there. They're probably going to have all similar layouts as far as where everything's located on each sheet, each armor image. So this should be just a lot of rinsing and repeating until I'm done, basically. Oops, sorry. I wanted to move that up to here. It's got to be in front of the head, not behind it. Right about there. That one also has a little bit on the side of the hand there. It looks like that's it. So there's the non-golden. All right, thanks, Flam. Have a good one. All righty. And there we go. Put you out in front of here, which is going to be right about there. And the weapon, same exact location as the last one. So I'd imagine they're probably going to all be very similar, if not exactly the same layout. So I think this is going to be a lot of rinse and repeat until I'm done. That one right about there. Get a little bit of that weapon off there. And the wrist. About the same amount of blending on this wrist as the last one. So again, it's going to be a lot of the same. Just look a little bit different each time around. There we go. It was about 245, I think. Whoops, don't do that. Where did it go? Crap, where'd it go? There we go. I moved it on accident. I moved the rest of the hilt from behind the armor to somewhere else on the page, and I couldn't figure out where it went. Oops. Okay, let's zoom back out here. Right about there. Move you up to about, whoops, too far to the left. Right about there. And yeah, about 245 again. 245 each. This is armor 11. Okay, now I have the dual air. Actually, no, this is a different layout entirely. I was wrong. But that's not that surprising. I cannot type today. It's also partially my computer being a little laggy. I hit keystrokes and it doesn't register that I actually hit them, and so it takes a second for it to register that anything happened, and then by that point, it's too late. Like me just moving stuff when I didn't mean to. I thought it had already started collapsing my layers into one, and it hadn't yet. Okay, so this one I've got the same problem as the previous one. And then back to here. There we go. Whoops, oh, don't do that. I don't erase anything. This has the exact same things on the feet and the side of the lower half of the legs too, like the previous ones did. So that at least is the same. Go into here, delete a little bit of you, delete a little bit of you, like so. There we go. Much better. Arm about right there. There we go. There's the dual layer. This one you can definitely see the lines, the effects around the head and everything else much better than you can on the previous ones, because this one you can kind of see that better because it blends in better with the all-around color scheme than like the golden one or the non-golden one, because they kind of blended in a little bit too well. You couldn't really see them that well. Like this one, you can really clearly see the outlines of the spikes and stuff coming off the head. The other ones were a little bit too light. Again, to my eyes, they weren't as obvious. This one is much easier to see. Okay, delete. Erase that wrist there, blend it back in again, and a little bit of that weapon off the end there. There we go. There's the hilt down there. Oh, I gotta move out a little. There we go. A little too close to that edge. When I try to select something with my little tool here, and it's too close to the edge, it'll jerk it off to the far side, the bottom, top, whatever. So I just try to keep it away from the edges as much as I can when I'm selecting something. Come on, scroll up. 2 hours and 10 minutes. Holy criminy. Okay, I'll zoom out here. Oops, too far. What about there? Move you up to about here. And that one is, again, yep, 245. Makes it easy. All the same dimensions. Well, it would make sense they'd be all the same dimensions. They're all the same armor. Save. Oops, no, save, dumb thing. Armor 12. Now we do the dual spirit, which has the exact same bleeding edge issues that the other ones do, which, again, I'm not surprised because they've all had it so far. Why would this one be any different? This one's like the previous ones. It has more or less the same layout as the first couple, I think. Well, no, never mind, it doesn't. Because the shields on the other ones have all been side by side by side. So they are a little different each time, except for the first two. The first two are similar. The rest of them have been different. There we go. I'm trying to get these as uniform as I can so they all look exactly the same. Not going to be perfect, but they'll be darn close. Right about there. Purple and pink, yeah. I'm gonna zoom in on this one. Just forgot to get that little bit of that hand off there. Go back to here. Get that little edge there, and that little edge there. There we go. And the arm. Thinking it's moving up higher than it is, and so I have to keep double clicking it. Or I have to keep clicking it a second time, because it looks like it's going up higher than it actually is each time, so I have to kind of drag it a second time. Okay. Whoops. Went a little too far over to the side there. I don't want to be over in that middle of that spirit aura on the side next to it. Click. Thank you. And there's the shield, which again is going to go right about here. And the weapon. Right about here. This is a little easier to see because it's not quite so black as the first couple. Easier to spot where the wrist should end. There's the rest of the hilt. Keeping me on my toes. It's a little different each time. Okay, that can go right about here. There we go. Right about there. Same dimensions. Perfect. Then we have earth, and then we have water. Then I can start putting the sheet together. Hooray! Now that we're 2 hours and almost 15 minutes in. Okay. I'm 4 keystrokes ahead of this thing. That's funny. Can you tell I've done this a few times? I'm hitting keystrokes on my computer before my application can even catch up to what I'm doing. Okay, before I do that, let me zoom in here really fast. Get that little edge. By the time I get done here, I'm going to remember how to do all of them, then I won't need to do them anymore. Because I'll have already done them all. Okay, about there, and just a titch to the right. Zoom in on the hand, clean that up. Legs. All right, and there is that one. A little bit of that foot. A little bit on the side of the leg there. Arm. Oop. Nope, one more up. Almost did it again. Had to click it a second time. Thought it went better than it did. Okay, and then we only have the water after this, and we'll be ready to roll. Okay. Almost done with the dual earth, too. Hilt over there. There it is. Move you over to about right there. Alrighty. Oops, I did it again. Almost messed myself up. There we go. Move the whole thing, not everything, just not everything except the hilt. I want everything, please. Thank you. I'm not even going to look. Don't need to. Should be all the same. Okay. One left. And now I got to figure out how big I'm going to need to make this sheet, because it's going to be the biggest one I think I've ever done. Actually, no, it's going to be the biggest one I've ever done. Just in dimensions, side to side, top to bottom, it's definitely going to be the biggest one. Because I've made some that are wide, only because we had like 12 armors and I wanted to keep them on 2 rows. I'm going to have to make 3 on this one. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm going to have to. Just because there's not enough room on the sheet otherwise. Oop, hang on. Almost forgot. Clean off that edge. Let me get the chest and rear facing arm. Oh crap. My cat is so good until I got to that hand and then I almost chopped it off. I just don't want to get those little water droplets included in it. I can go right about here. Got that one almost on the nose. First try. Whoops, a little too much. Okay. My legs. That one, strangely, doesn't seem like it has that little bit on the end of the leg. Well, maybe it does. Just didn't look like it did with this color. Never mind, it does. Just wasn't as obvious. Okay. Drag you all the way up this time. On the last one, I finally get it right. Figures. Murphy's Law in motion. The last one, I finally get it right. Actually, I shouldn't say Murphy's Law, because that would be the last time I wanted to get it right. I totally messed it up. Okay, there's that. And right about there. They're not going to be perfect, but I'm going to try to get them as close as I can to each other. That's going to go right about there. And a little bit off the weapon like usual. Okay, there we go. Now we just need a little bit of that hilt, which is right there. Whoa, slow down there, Turbo. Jumping a little too far for me. A little too quickly. There we go. Actually, that looks a little wrong. Because it is. There we go. Much better. Okay. And we are now down to the sheet. So width-wise, I can keep with the same width because it's still going to be 5 armors wide. But now I have to make three rows instead of the usual 2. So I have to worry about that now. So let me resize this. 45. Save. Armor 15. Water. Okay. I'm going to shut this down really quick, just so it's not running like it does right now. Because that seems to be what's slowing down my computer most, is that application. Okay. Good night. Have a good one. Let's see. Sorry, brain cramp. All right, so my last one, this one right here, is 1350 wide by 1100. So I am going to do the same width, but I'm going to do it much longer. I got the wrong window. There we go. Resize you, 1350 by, let's do 1500 just to be safe. Make it nice and huge. Probably not going to need that much room, but I'll chop off what I don't need. Okay, we're going to highlight all of it and delete it. We're going to make a new layer. We're going to make ourselves our little boxes here. So we start with about And if you're wondering what I'm looking at when I duck down like that, it's because I'm looking at this right down here. I'm not sure if you can see that, but right there at the bottom, that's the number of pixels, like height and like top to bottom versus left to right. So if I'm right here, it says 1240 That's where my positioning is. So I'm over here and I'm looking for 350, which is right about there. I drag down, I make a box, just to basically kind of make myself grid lines, down to about the 700 mark. That's pretty close. And I'm going to do another one, but this one I'm going to do just a line instead of a rectangle. Yeah, I suppose it doesn't really matter whether I do it that way or not. We're going to go down to the 1050 line, about there. And I'm going to do another one, but I'm going to drag this one off because I don't need it actually on the sheet. So I've got row 1, row 2, row 3, and then I can do all the rest of the stuff below it. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go to here, armor number 1, and hopefully if I did this right, it should go over the line, and it does not because I'm an idiot. Okay, let's actually put it back that way. Put the background, there we go, that's what I wanted. Over the line, perfect, okay. I wanted to go just over the edge of that line so I have everything lined up nicely. Armor number 2, which is humongous. I just don't want it overlapping the other one. I may have to manually move that one. I think I'll just do that now. So I can have a little bit tighter of a line that I can move it with without overlapping the other one. Not that far over though. I don't want it actually overlapping. I want it just closer. There we go. Okay. Now we have our Fire Spirit, which is the second reskin. That one right about there. A little bit closer. Right about there. That looks good. I may actually may not need this width. I might be able to make it even shorter from side to side. Down just a ditch, right about there. That looks pretty good. And we have our dual fire, which is going to be on the far right. And that's it right there. And that's actually about right. I'm actually pretty close to where I wanted to be. Pretty close. Cool. There's row 1. Then we have row 2, which is our Fire Earth, which is going to be right about there. Kind of trying to line it up with the row above it somewhat. Fire Water. That one right about there. Again, trying to line it up somewhat with the one above it. Number 8, which is the Fire Air, our second Fire Air. Directly below the Fire Spirit. And our last regular armor is going to be right here. Trying to get them sort of in line with each other. That's good enough. Okay. Now we go into the event armors. And coincidentally, the golden armor ends up being the first one. That's going to go right here. Right directly below the other dual fire. There's that one. And then we have our other dual fire. The non-golden one, the regular one, if you will. Then we have the dual air. I'm going to try to line these up with the one directly above, just so it's a little more consistent. So there'll be a bigger gap between these, but that's all right. Then we have our dual spirit. It's going to be right about there, roughly. Dual earth, right about there. Again, roughly. And then, last but not least, our dual water. Alt-tab, you dumb thing. Thank you. Okay, and there's our dual water, which is going to go right below the dual fire. Ta-da! And there we are. So I'm going to put the elements on here, but really quickly before I continue on, I'm going to kind of go through this and just kind of give my predictions. Yeah, a lot of stuff. Hey, Flame, it's been a while. So the first armor, Fire Water, that's going to be a raid. Fire Water is going to be a war, excuse me. Second one is Fire Water, also that's going to be a raid. Third one is Fire Spirit, that's I believe the other raid armor. I'll double check and look at the boss to be sure, but I think that's our second rate armor. Then we have the fire air, which I believe is also going to be a war. Dual fire is going to be our exclusive. Fire earth is seasonal. Fire water is going to be the seasonal. Fire air is going to be seasonal. Fire spirit is going to be fusion, and then the rest are the event. Whatever that event ends up being, I don't know, but that's what it looks like at this point. So again, one more time: war, raid, raid, war, exclusive, seasonal, 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 fusion, event for the rest. It just coincidentally ended up they were kind of in order. So like exclusive and then 3 seasonals in a row and then fusion for whatever reason. All 4 events. It's just that's the way it turned out for whatever reason. When I extract them, they all come out in the size. So the largest files are always first, and then the smaller files are always last. So that's that. I will, of course, put the same prediction on KnD bot when I get it uploaded. But that's just so people can kind of get an idea of what to expect or what I think will probably happen. I'm actually going to move this guy. He looks a little off kilter to me for some reason. Just a little bit to the left, so they're kind of more evenly spaced. That looks better. Okay, so it's time to put some elements on here. So we're going to start off, jump back to my other folder here where I have my element pictures. Let's start off with water, since that's the one at the bottom. Do water over here. And then water right next to it. Like so. Then we will move over to our fire water right here. Put it right next to that one as well. About like that. And then we have fire water right here. About like that. And then fire water right here. Like so. So there's our waters. Now we can move on to spirit. Let's move in on this guy here. I'm in the wrong window. There we go. Fire spirit. Or sorry, just spirit, not fire spirit. So we've got spirit right there. About the same distance away from that toe. There we go. Then we have fire spirit right here. Surprised I'm remembering. I mean, I've been through this file quite a lot in the last little bit here, so maybe I'm just finally developing a memory. Maybe I finally remember crap. Who knows? Okay. And you can go right over there. Up to there, I think. Looks about right. Yeah, pretty good. Okay, and now we're going to go with as strong as actual elites. No, I don't think so. Pretty sure they won't be. Actually, let's do earth really quick first before I go to fire, because fire is going to be my final element that I'll be doing on everything else. Earth. They will be strong, but I don't think they'll be as strong as the exclusives or the elites, whatever term you prefer. I always say exclusive because that's what it says on the banner when the armors are announced each month. The exclusive blah, you know, whatever that armor is called. It's always called exclusive, but at the same time, the materials are called elite materials, so who knows? I don't know. Okay, then so we have earth and that earth there, so that one's done. Now we got to do air, and we have this one here. We have air on that one, right about there. We have air on this one, right about here. And then we have air right over here. The air and the spirit element images are the biggest of them all. And then the water, earth, and fire are all pretty similar in size. Okay, now, fire time. Start at the top and work my way down. Fire right about there. Fire right about there. About the same distance roughly. And right about there. Whoops. Click the wrong one. There we go. We are dual fire right here. And we're dual fire right here. And that there. Trying to zoom in the right place, and I keep moving it a little farther over to the side than I mean to. So it keeps zooming me out in the wrong place. Because the way the zoom in this application works, it's based on where your mouse actually is on the screen. So when I zoom out, it's like zoomed out based on where I was, not necessarily where I want to be. So it kind of messes with me occasionally. Okay, so let's see here. We got all our elements? Yes, we do, except for this one down here. Okay, that's right. The non-golden dual fire. Okay, and there we go. Now I got to do rings and amulets. So let's make a new layer. Do rings and amulets next. Let's go back to here, to the top. Fire, water, amulet. It's going to be right over the top of this guy here, right about there. And then ring, right about there. Kind of get these spaced evenly. Amulet. Okay. Blast incrustation, reskin, Ragnarok soul, whatever term you prefer for that one. Okay. And then we have Spectral Finscutarius, Matt's Soul, Cursed Blast, all those names for this guy here. Trying to keep these sort of in line with each other. Not always as easy as it might seem. Okay, then we have our amulet for the dual fire exclusive right here on the far right. Right about there. And on some of these, like I said earlier on, for those of you who may not have been here at the time, I may have gotten some of these wrong, like the fire air and the fire spirit and the fire water, these bottom three. I may have gotten the rings on them wrong. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on the rest. Like on the fire earth here, this one's a pretty dead giveaway. Because it looks, well, the dual fire and the fire earth are obvious because they look just like the armors. And then the dual fire is the same. The other ones are reskins except for this one, but it's an obvious match. Like the shield looks just like the amulet. This looks just like the beast that you're actually fighting the raid boss. But the other ones I'm not 100% sure on. So I could be wrong on some of these. So don't take it as gospel that I have these right. I may in fact have a couple of them reversed. But I'm hoping I've got most of them right. Because they are not as obvious on some of these. Okay, amulet for the fire air. The fire air I'm pretty sure I got right, but again, I could be wrong. I could be entirely wrong. I just think I've got it right, because it seems like it fits the theme of the armor itself. Okay, getting there, slowly but surely. There's that one, and I'm pretty sure this one's also correct on at least the amulet side of it. I'm just not sure on the rings. I could have them wrong. Okay, now we're getting into the event armors, which are all going to look exactly the same, except for the color scheme for each one. Oop, too close. Too close. There we go. Oops, no, not that one. There we go. There's the ring, or the amulet, excuse me, for that one. The ring, right there. Amulet. Ring. Sorry, I saw you were asking something. How long have I been doing them? I think I'm right about 3 years now. Close to 3 or maybe a little over 3, something like that. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to go back and look at my files, see my oldest file, and that would tell me what I did my very first one. I think it's right around the 3-year mark, though. Not 100% positive on that, but I think it's around there. But this is the largest file I have ever worked on, period. It's huge. I've had some that are big, but nothing like this. These are massive. The ones where I've had a lot of extra data didn't end up being as big because they only had small images like extra keys or whatever, things of that nature. This actually has full armors. There's 15 total, so this is the biggest I've worked on, period. Okay, so one final time. War, raid, raid, war, exclusive, seasonal, 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 fusion, and the rest are events. So that is that. I'm going to save this really quick before I move on. Move it out of the way. So this is the sixth month of the year. Okay. Do we know the EB T20 armor yet? No, but I can probably guess. Let me look. I might not have it right here handy. Let me just quickly glance. I think the oldest one I have on my computer right now that's readily available is this one, but that's new recent. That's season 42. That's 5 months ago, almost. It's going to be fire water, obviously, because that's the same element combination they always use. But I could probably look it up. I knew what the one for this month was because that was originally called the Adamant Twilight. Kirsten's tribute was called that originally. Just like my armor, the Blando's tribute armor, was originally called Dukun Spear. So I knew what the armor names were. Just like Inscribed Custodian was named that before it was renamed to Soul of Maple. So they're all originally named something and then the name is changed. So whatever the fire spirit or fire water armor was for that month, so 15, is it 15 months ago? I think it's 15 months ago. Whatever that armor was called, or whatever the armor was, that'll be the armor they'll use. That's been the cycle for 6-7 months now. They reuse the armor that was named after the person for that month that happens to be the same element combination. Okay. Let's make my little doohickey text box here and make another layer. Actually, no, I don't need to. Never mind. I can do it on the same layer as the ring and amulet sets. So let's make a box. Like about like so. But anyway, the epic boss armors are always reused armors. They're never new. They're never included in the Datamine because they're not new. They're not new armors. They're always reused. From the very beginning when they started using them, they were always reused armors. 26, I think? Or did I use bigger? No, actually, that works out quite well. Well, maybe I'll go up 28. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Just didn't want to have my text box have too much blank space on the side of it. So I'm going to get this, maybe actually type that back in again. And kind of center it a bit more in there. That's where I wanted it. And then I wanted to shorten this up. So about there. Move you over. Oh, a little too far. Now I just need to shorten up a little less of it. Make it a little bit more narrow, like so. Move that over just a little. There we go. Got it. Okay. Now, so this is 1350 wide. So I want to get this roughly at about the 675 area. Right about there. Centered. Perfect. Okay. Doesn't look centered, but it is. Just because the armors are a little off-centered on the center kind of line there of the armors. It looks off, but it's not. I promise. It looks a little funky, but it's actually the way it's supposed to be. Okay. Now we have material number 1, which I don't know which of these is exclusive material versus not. I'm just going to put them right here because I don't know any better. I don't know which one's which. I just label them as 1 and 2 in the order they came out. I'm going to assume, based on the design of them, though, that this one here that has like the flower and the blades around it, looks like a flower, is going to be our exclusive material, and this is the regular one, but I could have that backwards. I don't know. So, Now I got to get my pets on here, which I haven't even renamed yet. But this is a reused pet as well. I think that one is, let's see. So this one here, so 114 is tier 5. Tide hold male? No, it wouldn't be tide hold male. Sorry, maybe it was 10 months ago. Tide hold male has already been used. Unless they reuse it, which I don't think they would do. That one is tier 4, so that's 115. This is a hard one. I can't tell on these ones. So that's 113. So there's, move this over here so I can look at them all together at the same time. And 150, 116, okay. All right, so we have this one and this one and this one. Look at them kind of all together at the same time so I can kind of figure this out. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 16, 17, 13. Okay, cool. So 16, 17, 13. Sometimes it's not as easy to tell. Implored charger's already been used. Let me. I'm actually gonna have to look it up now because it's gonna bug me if I don't. I'm gonna go to my computer here. Okay, let's see. Let me think. Bear with me for just a minute here. Steve Sull. Yeah, I think you're probably right. Let me look here. Steve. Oh, duh, I'm in the wrong year. No wonder. I accidentally clicked on the wrong year. I went to 2018 instead of 2019. So Steve was August of 2018. Or 2019, excuse me. So that armor was originally named, if it'll load. I may have officially pissed my computer off to the point it doesn't want to run now because it's not even opening up Excel. When I get this sheet, when I get the stats from Deca, they come in an Excel spreadsheet. And it's taking its sweet time opening up. Come on. It doesn't take that much work. It's probably going to lag pretty heavily right now because I'm opening up another application and it doesn't like that. Called Elemental Garbs. Now you know. That was the original name, was Elemental Garbs. I'll type it in the chat, just in case, because I opened up another application and that caused my computer to lag pretty severely. There we go. So now you know. Should be called the Elemental Garbs. It's fire water. Okay, back to what I was doing. Okay, so let's get the pets on here. Zoom out a little bit. I'm going to save this really quick before I move on. Okay, so pets. Let's do tier 1. I'm going to put you right about there. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here so I can see a little better. And then tier 2. Trying to line it up with this kind of grid pattern back here in the back so I can make them line up a little easier. There's that one. Tier 3. I'm pretty sure I got that right. It's entirely possible I didn't. Actually, no, I didn't. I got tier 2 and tier 3 backwards. Okay, we're going to take you off. We're going to delete that one. Go back to here to tier 3, put tier 3 next to it. It's actually the eyes. The shape of the eyes is slightly different. That's what clued me in on it being the wrong one. So I actually have tier 2 and tier 3 reversed. Because the higher the tier, the more kind of angular the eyes get, the more slanted they get. More squinty, I guess you could say. Like if you look at the tier 5, the eyes are really, really, really narrow. compared. Like it's white, kind of a little more darker color, sort of, and then a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, until it gets to the final tier. Then it's really, really a darker, kind of more golden color. I guess is probably the best way to describe it. Let's see if I can squeeze these in just a little bit closer to the ones above. Just a little, not a lot. Okay. Now we're going to make a box. Whoops. No, click out of it. Thank you. Make a box right about here. I made that box a little bit shorter than I meant to, but that's okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm going to do the bosses next. And I just dawned on me I didn't do the exclusive with the cape behind it. Let me do that really fast before I forget. Edit. Nope, that's the wrong one. Not that one. Derp. I misclicked. That's the one I wanted. We're going to resize you and make you about 450 by 450. And then we will take this out to about here and delete. Clear out the background. And we'll take it all and move it down to here, roughly. And now we're going to go up the cape, which I believe is this one right here. Yeah, either one of those first two. We're going to take this one. We're going to get the one that's more flared out. Whoops. Nope, not that one. This one. The more flared out version, because that's the one you'd actually have it, what it would look like in battle. We're going to make a new layer and put it behind this one. We're going to take this, we're going to put it right about, let's see, middle of the back. Right about, oh, I got that guy too low. I got to move him back up. A little bit too low. Oh, wrong layer. Derp. Move you up just a titch. There we go. Okay, so let's see. Got that right middle of the back, right about there. About like that, really. Okay, cool. And then I've just got to resize it. I got to make it smaller and save it with a different name. Okay, move you up to here. Right about there-ish. How wide are we? About 355. That's pretty close, actually. Let's do 365. No, I said 365. Thank you. 365 days in the year. Okay. Much better. We're going to save you as the same name, but with a cape. Okay. Now we're going to resize you. Oops, sorry. Resize. Let's do 250. Make it kind of small. That might not be enough, but I'm going to save it there and we'll see how it works. Okay. Let me do the bosses really quick before I move on. Bosses, bosses, bosses. Bottom. So this one here is our fire water, I believe. Yeah, fire water boss. Put that right about there. Okay, and the boss that's the fire spirit, which I'm pretty sure is the reskin armor, this one right here. This goes with that one. Let's see, let's move that over just a little bit. Line up the height of them a little better. Like about like that. And then I need to go back to my other folder where my elements are. Get fire. Zoom in a bit. Fire right about, so where are we at height-wise? About 1270-ish. That should work. Move you over to here. About 1270. And just a little bit. There we go. Now we need spirit, which is the one on the right. Get that lined up there. And then water on the left. Kind of get that lined up with the other one as well. Right there. Cool. Now we're going to do another text box right about here. And I am very nearly done, except for the crafting materials and stuff that are the materials that are going to be used for the event. So I may end up cutting the video here pretty shortly, the stream here pretty shortly. Unless people want to hang out, I mean, it's going to be a bit longer, obviously, because I'm still working on it. But so, sorry, I just was looking at my other window here. Had a chat pop up on me. So if you want to stay on, of course, that's fine. I mean, it looks like there's only 6 people on right now, so I'm very nearly done. I've maybe got 10 minutes left, roughly, because all I got to do is drop in the cape and then my name and information down here, and then those materials over here on the probably on the far left, right below the pets. But that'll be it, and I'll be done. So I may just actually end the stream here shortly, and I'll finish it up and put it up on KnD bot and everything else. So anyway, I'll just go ahead and keep going, and if you want to stay on, that's fine. It's not going to be that much longer. Okay, let me quickly save. There we go. And now we're going to go back to here. I'm going to grab the cape image, the original one here, which I need to rename that actually, just so I can keep track of it. Copy back to here. We're going to paste you. I'm going to put you right about here. And then we will go back and get the dual fire with the cape and drop you right next to it. That may be still too big. That's still kind of big. I'm going to make that smaller. We're going to resize you again, take you down to about 220. Save. Okay, let's close you. That should be enough, I think. Just so it's kind of not occupying as much space as it did before, because it was pretty huge. We're going to go down to here. We're going to make a text box. Got to always unselect that thing first. We're going to put in here. That's a little small. There we go. Okay. Let me save one more time here, and now I'm going to take this, and I'm going to go back to here. Come on, click, you dumb thing. Just want to see what this looks like. See if it's all ready to roll for the most part. This is a big sheet. Easily the biggest one I've ever made. I thought about maybe making it wider, but I just think it would look better if it's more square-shaped-ish. A little bit rectangle-y, but not too bad. Now I'm going to go into here. We're going to change the font color to here, and this is going to be, let's see, first row, second armor. Make that centered. There we go. Did I get the right color? Yeah, I did. Okay, I just want to make sure. First row, second armor, and this is first row, third armor, I think? Yeah. Just making sure. I may actually have to make that smaller. Just a little bit smaller. 24 should be good. There we go. And first row, third armor. That way we know which one's which. Beautiful. Okay. Now, way to the right, to that one. Let's see, June 2020. I hate when it does this crap. It pisses me off. Stupid program. It just randomly wigs on me and starts moving the page all over when it doesn't need to. Make sure that reads right. Yeah, it does. Okay, good. Right there. And I'm going to put right here. Up there. This is going to be season 47. Fire. And I'm actually going to make that one bigger. That's a little bigger than I meant to. Let's just go back to 28. That'll be good. Okay. 28 right there, and then we're going to make an effect on this puppy. Make it a little glowy. Just so it sticks out a bit more. Okay, now the material's at the bottom, and I am done. Okay. And I'm just going to put them in the order they're here, so I'm not really sure what order they would necessarily need to be in. Whoops, wrong layer. Wrong layer. Let's make actually a new one for this one just to be safe. That might even be too big. Crap. I may have run myself out of room. Okay, let's do this. Let me zoom back out here. Let me go into, I think it's this one. I'm going to move the pets up because they're a little bit close. That might give me enough room to make it work. There we go. That might be enough. We'll go back to here. Paste. Yeah, that's enough room. Perfect. That one there. Oh, I've got a chest and a key in here still. Crap. Just dawned on me. I don't have enough room on here. I have to make this even bigger than I thought. Actually, let's do spirit and water first, and then we'll move over to the golden ones. Yeah, it just dawned on me. I haven't even done the key or the chest yet. Crap. I thought I was done. And then it just dawned on me I'm not. Okay. We have golden. And then we have regular. That should be, I think, just enough room, hopefully. Ooh, that's close. That's awfully close. I may have to move these over a little. Since they're all on a different layer, I can move them without touching the stuff behind it. Ta-da! Okay. Yeah, I may end up having to redo this a little. But maybe not. Maybe I can do the chest and the key smaller. I can make them smaller if I need to. Because we're going to open this one up first. Because I only need the top one. I don't need the bottom one. That's the chest being opened. Let's go to here. And make that into a new image entirely. Let's make that 300 by 300. Okay, and then we can resize it to 280 by 280, just to make sure. Groovy, and we'll resize it again, height-wise, to about 270. Make it a little bit smaller. Okay, I'm going to resize that now down to about, let's try 200. Whoops, crap. That's not what I meant to do. Undo, undo. Derp. That's going to be too big still. Let's do 150. Let's see how big that is. That's almost manageable, actually. That's almost manageable. Just a little bit too big. Let's resize you again to 135. That might be enough. Oops, no, don't do that, you dumb thing. I want to just copy it. I'm not even going to label these as chests and keys. I'm just going to stick them down here in the bottom. Because I usually do that on there, but I don't think there's really a need for it this time. And a key. That's a full sheet. Holy cow. Okay, that's it. We're done. I'm going to shut the stream off here in just a second. Thanks everyone for joining, and probably see you in about another month from now, roughly, to do the upcoming season 48, which will be Spirit season again. So that's it for now. One final time. War, Raid, Raid, War, Exclusive, Seasonal, 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 Fusion, and then the remaining 6 are all event armors of some kind. Thanks everyone, and have a great rest of your evening / day, I guess, depending on your time zone. It's currently about 11:15, 11:18 here, so I'll be heading to bed shortly. Thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.